everybody. Welcome back to the Giant Beastcast. You're listening to it. We're here live. If you see me with my pop screen or like right in front of my face here, it's because I might be a little bit out of sync with my audio, and I want to make the best experience for you watching this. If you're listening at home, imagine I look fantastic. If you're watching this live or watching the video, close your eyes and imagine I look fantastic. We are here at the Giant Beastcast. I am Vinny Caravella. It is episode 2. Oh, shoot. I should have looked this up. 277?
278.
No,
278.
I'm
pretty sure it's 278.
8 or 9?
278. I was on 277, so I'm pretty sure.
278 by the calendar here. It is Thursday, September 17th, Friday. Someday we'll go back to posting these on Friday. So Friday, September 18th.
I still was. I didn't realize you weren't supposed to.
I know. I put
I
them
did
up
the live
live.
stream 12 hours later. That's when it all was going up.
You know, I saw it, but I didn't want to say anything because I still kind of enjoyed that it would go up on Friday.
That's what I thought we were supposed to do. It's 6 a.m.
I have. If you're watching this video, I have set some stuff up here. It is a mess around me. It is a g-dang mess over here. Golly darn mess around me. But tried to set some new stuff up, and of course, right before the show started, trying to get everything going using a different camera. If you're watching this live and this camera stops, it shouldn't, but if it does, that's gonna be some excitement for y'all. But if you're
you have no idea.
I tried it. I did a test run, but you know what? During the Beastcast, anything could happen. So we'll see. That's my motto. So we'll see.
My camera cut out 7 seconds before we went live on our PS5 live stream yesterday. So
that's how it goes.
The magic will have its way.
Jeff Backler, you are you're the one breaking my brain the most on this video setup. You sound amazing as always. Yeah. People on the audio version know that he still sounds the same, Jeff Backler. But if you're looking at the video at all, everything's backwards. You might as well have just a goatee and be like a mirror universe Jeff Backler. You've changed your camera to the other side of the room. It hurts my head. What are you doing?
I just felt a change was needed. And I needed to just flip my office literally 180 degrees, and that's what I did. So I also I think it's where I just want to look out the window.
You couldn't do that before.
I couldn't do that. It was behind me. The window was behind me over there. I used to be right here.
Yeah.
I used to sit right there.
That doesn't make sense for people listening to the audio, but yes.
Yeah. So, but that's.
I thought you were in front of your window.
No, I still can't do that. I'll get sunburn, but I needed to have it in eye shot, if that makes sense. So
yeah,
that's all. Look, it's opposite day. So I did it.
Okay. Well, glad to have you back as well. You were out last week. Also out last week, Alex Navarro. Alex, condolences on your cat Thelma. Actually, very
Thank you.
Sincere condolences.
Yeah, that sucks.
Long
Thank
time.
You. Yeah, I got her literally the month Giant Bomb launched.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's
wild.
Wow.
Yeah, I got her in July of 2008. It was a few months after I'd moved to Boston. She had wandered into one of my coworker, Jason Kendall's backyard somewhere in Rhode Island, and they had dogs, so they could not keep her. So he put her up for adoption on the internal Harmonix message board. And I had been living in Boston for a couple of months and was very much missing having a pet. So it was just kind of a confluence of the right time and the right situation. And like any other street cat, she was extremely skittish when I got her, to the point where she was literally trying to jump out of windows at one point. And in fact did a couple of times. But she was a real trooper, and over the years she became a very, very wonderful companion. So I'm going to miss her, but
sorry to hear that, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But good to see you again. You're also out last week.
Yes.
And some well-deserved time off. Abby Russell here last week.
Yes, I was here last week, and I would like to address what happened last week. I'm sure people have seen. So nobody else was here but me, so I booked guests for the podcast, and one of those guests was Merritt K. I didn't learn this until the middle of the podcast, but Merritt had tweeted out some things that were hurtful specifically to bi people, asexual people, and non-binary people. There were also, Merritt was in a romantic relationship with someone, I guess a few years back, and there were allegations of, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it seemed like allegations of maybe emotional abuse and just other really uncomfortable things to read, just like problematic things that were not good, not a good thing. And certainly not something I would want to promote. And it's not for me to judge those things, but having her on the podcast hurt people, and I don't ever want to do that. So I just want to address it and say, like, I never want to hurt people, especially as like a woman here, as a queer person. Like, I never want to hurt, other, some of the most misunderstood people in my own community. Like, of course not. I would hope that people who saw the podcast and who saw the guests that I booked would see that I was trying to make something very inclusive. And it's a shame that didn't happen. I will also say, I addressed this in the show notes. I was sure to put it in the metadata of the episode, so it carried with the episode. Unfortunately, it seemed like the show notes were a little more hidden on the site than I was expecting them to be. These were the tools I had at my disposal. It wasn't me trying to hide it. If I was trying to hide it, I wouldn't have addressed it at all. It's unfortunate that it seemed like they were hidden when I wasn't trying to hide anything. I will also say, as Giant Bomb, I think Vinny can probably speak to this a little more authoritatively, but we don't take things down unless the content themselves is, has something that is objectionable. And there was nothing.
Even then, it is. I can only think of 2 instances really where we've ever even touched something in the past. I mean, maybe there are more.
Yeah, like I think it's erasure of what happened. I'm not trying to act like I have a clean record, and not that this is necessarily a blemish on my record, but we're keeping it up because there wasn't anything said that was objectionable on the Beastcast itself, and I don't want to seem like I'm trying to brush something under the rug. That I feel like feels more like erasure than taking it down. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm losing the thread on this one a little bit.
I think. Listen, I know this staff very well. That we are trying to build as inclusive of a site as we can. There are stumbles along the way. We're going to make stumbles going forward. It will never be perfect. We use this, and we'll use this as well to try and think of different ways to book guests and have a process for making sure that if we can do more to avoid things like this, we'll try it, and those are things that go in place. And I can almost guarantee moving forward, we have been around a long time. We have a lot of on-air stuff's going to happen. Abby, I think you had the best of intentions in booking that show, so I think people in good faith know that you were doing that. But thank you for addressing it.
I hope so. Yeah, I also want to say, it is very important to me to bring more guests onto the site, to have people who don't look like us, who do look like us, and who I just think are cool people who make cool content. And I don't want to stop bringing on guests. And at the end of the day, I cannot look into everyone's past. I'm not a part of every social circle online. I don't know everything that's happened with everyone. So I'm going to do my best. I'm going to talk to the people I can. I'm going to do the research I can do to make sure that I'm not bringing on people who will hurt someone or whose actions in the past may have hurt someone. I never want to do that. That's very important to me. And I hope, I had just done, a charity stream with Merritt a few days before this episode went up, and the reactions seem to be pretty positive. And granted, different audience, whatever, but please, believe me when I say that I was blindsided by this completely. I would never bring on someone who whose presence I felt could hurt people. Of course not. That's not what I want from Giant Bomb. That's not what I want for me or the content I consume or the content I make. But it's really important to me that I continue to bring on guests. And with that, this might happen again. I can't guarantee it won't happen again. Not with Merritt, obviously, but I don't know everybody's past. All I can do is I can take what happened and I can learn from it. And like Vinny said, we're talking about more peer review of guests, but I'm going to keep bringing on guests. It's very important to me at the site. And I just hope that people are patient and understanding with that process.
Well said. We have, if you can believe it,
Agreed.
We have other stuff to even talk about that happened that is not necessarily even video game related, that is going to affect this site in some way, somehow, which is if you hadn't heard, we're sold. The company, the business unit.
We did it, guys.
We high five everybody. Good job.
We did a sold.
I already made my best joke about this, which is, man, I'm gone for 2 weeks, and you guys sell the company, huh? But I wasted it, and now it's just not going to land anymore. So if you haven't heard, we sold, or not we, Viacom CBS, the company that owns CNET, that owns Giant Bomb. The merger that happened between Viacom and CBS has sold off CNET. If you see that, what's written as CNET, that usually encompasses things also, because of the way the organization works, things like GameSpot, things like GameFAQs, things like Giant Bomb,
Metacritic.
Metacritic. I don't want to go too deep into it, because this is how little information I actually have right now. Is like, I'm not exactly sure all the units that are in part of this deal. And it was for a cost of, I think, $500 million is what's being reported, and that's as much as I know. So basically, at this point, the meetings I have been in about this, if you're very curious, and we are all very curious, it was to a company called Red Ventures, by the way. If you're very curious, and we're curious, the meetings mostly I have been super hyper specific about, like, I am a contractor in the middle of Ohio, and I just got onboarded. Like, how does this affect me? There's not really a lot of bigger picture. How does this affect what we make or what we do? Or, most of it is kind of very ambiguous, very top level. Hey, this is an opportunity. This is a chance to, explore new things, and, that kind of stuff, which is what happens when people at a much higher pay grade and level tell you about a sale. So, I want to mention one more thing also that I think it's kind of important to say. Like, when we sold Whiskey or Giant Bomb to CBS/CNET, we were much more hands-on and knew what the heck was happening there, because we were in the meetings with the sale. Viacom CBS is a huge company, with Giant Bomb being, I don't know, 10 people-ish within that company. We do not have a seat at that level of the negotiations. We will talk to people who will be our bosses and stuff like that. But when they're going around the room from billionaire to billionaire, there's not like Abby and I sitting there and be like, oh, wait a second.
But what about quick looks?
But what about the Nancy Drew? So that stuff. How
will this affect my drumming?
So we're not there yet. So Beckler, what were you gonna say?
Look. Bottom line, we're all filthy fucking rich right now. And that's all you need to know.
Did you see these lights? Do you see what's happening behind me?
Where do you think all the money came to?
$48,000.
How the fuck do you think I flipped this office around for free? No.
That's literally flip that office. Yeah. So I mean, what I really want to say is we don't know. All I can tell you is from experience, these things take time to kind of resolve, not only in the upper echelons of what's happening here, but by the time that hits the ground, it could be months, could be a year before anything is really felt. I don't know. The other weird, complicating thing, just trying to be as transparent and honest as possible, is we're already in a weird suspended animation point with working from home and the offices and all this stuff. Like, we have no idea what that was going to look like in January for us anyway, to maybe go back into an office or not. And then to now not be sure what's happening there is just another complicated factor. We were it's very easy to forget this. I don't know, Abby, Alex, and Jeff, like, we were just merged with, like, Viacom.
Were we?
but internally, nothing really, like, I don't even think we ever even got onto, like, different health plans. They were still figuring all that stuff out.
Yeah, like
I think the only change was, like, our CBS All Access had, like, SpongeBob now.
Yes,
like the lineup was slightly better.
Let's just say corporate logistics move at a glacial pace, and look, that's how the cookie crumbles. I do think it's the one thing that I kind of experienced this week was quite the tremendous amount of maybe undereducated sort of hypotheses about what this all means for everyone involved. And I just think like everyone, this is a thing where we just gotta like take the long road approach and see where it all shakes out. I hope this was educational for some people, where you began to understand how our company was sort of structured and whatnot.
You mean
So
this right here, the things we just said right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Well,
just
I know there are a
know,
lot of concerns. I think yeah, go ahead.
I'll just say, like, I got a ton of messages on Twitter, people simply, presuming a lot of things that it was just like, oh, okay, let's all just take a step back and look,
People on Twitter presuming something.
I know. My first day on the internet.
2020, am I right, guys?
So
Yeah.
like,
everything's
got to shake out. We will tell you the important things, is what.
Yeah, I think. But I think what people are
if we're
looking
not
for,
here to do it, somebody else will for sure.
Yeah.
I think what people here are looking for is a hot take. They want like the pointed commentary about what's taking place here. They
Sure.
want something bite sized that they can put into a headline. So I'm going to give it to them right now. At least it wasn't Ziff Davis.
Oh man, burn! Look at you.
Good one.
I think they bought
I can
that
see
too. I think
they're starting up the typewriters
Yeah.
at the Times.
Headline says at least ... Ziff Davis.
Local Game Boy burns
Mhm.
Ziff Davis. Real good.
Yeah, the thing that I've heard probably the most is they are excited to acquire these brands. They're excited to work with them. That's
What if they hadn't said that though? Like, what if they just said, "Well, we don't know what to do with any of that shit. Whatever."
That's probably fine if they had
clicked add to cart by accident and this fucking happened. So.
It was
Wait, I didn't mean to buy 2 game sites.
It said I could only get this one if I have a purchase of over 490 million or more. So it's a free packet. It won't ship for free unless I do it. I'm excited to work with the brands that are inside of it. I mean, that's a big one. The rest are all there.
The Giant Bob
Yeah,
thing
we're all
just
here.
came on after you proceeded to check out. I was like, hey, you want to add on this
Right.
fucking warranty?
We're a pre-order bonus.
We'll see. And then aside from that, I mean, my priorities are, hey, the staff have health insurance, the staff have jobs, and then after that, it's a descending list, and not too low on that list is, am I gonna see Eugene again?
Oh.
Yes, you will. The one time they let you back in the office to go pick up your shit.
Will they
I
let me
hope
back in the
so.
office?
I hope they do. I hope they let us get no.
They must. My Zojirushi
of
Tumblr was there.
course.
I love that Tumblr. I miss it truly every day. Why didn't I just throw it in my backpack?
There's-
And Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock has been there all alone for months.
I
Okay,
know.
she's so alone, and I've written her letters. I don't know if she's gotten them. No mail is coming out. It's only going in.
See, Eugene is just reading those letters, being like, "These are
Hey,
good."
look, Sandra Bullock survived alone in space. She'll be fine. She'll be
Good
just
point.
fine.
Good point.
Stay
I
there.
am a little worried, and it's in CBS, Viacom, CBS. If you're listening to this, hear my concern. We all have brought a lot of our personal gaming stuff into an office. So if you ask us to then go in and tell you, no, this GameCube is mine, as you're sitting over my shoulder as I'm trying to take my stuff out of an office and be like, well, you have to believe me. This GameCube and this Xbox are mine. That PS3 is not mine. That PS4 is like, that could be weird. And I hope they really just believe, like, no. Listen to me. This Xbox controller is definitely mine, but this Xbox controller is not.
The CBS blanket is mine. I know the CBS logo's all over it, but it's mine. Okay, I won it at a
Yeah.
health fair.
Because my Xbox.
I
is
built
in
this
there.
TriCaster with my own 2 hands.
See this TriCaster? That was definitely. I remember that's from mine from home. That's my personal TriCaster. Brought that one. That ATEM you can keep.
I
Though. That
don't
one's-
want to think about. I don't want to fucking think about those moments that are forthcoming.
Who knows
Those
if they
doesn't sound
are
very
really
pleasant.
like? It's honestly we really don't have no idea. We're just speculating.
Well, no, I have to get some of my shit, Vinny.
Well, I don't know.
I have
like,
some
like again.
I have a mug that needs to be recovered.
Jeff, I've seen your desk. There's more than a mug there.
Yeah.
There's a lot. That's a
I
moving
want all that.
truck.
I want all that, and I need, or at least need to, burn it all.
Yeah. While it's still on your desk.
all
yeah.
these 2070s, all these video cards. I brought from home. These are
I
my
built
kids.
a fort out of them.
I had a thing going, and these were mine, along with all these office chairs. Actually, this shirt's pretty good. Anyway, that's as much as we know right now. There are meetings taking up a lot of time. Like I said, a lot of them are very specific concerns, which people have, and that is right now. Like I think as a smaller group, our concerns are there. You have to remember this is like 1,000+ people, right, or near it, for that are involved in this, and a lot of people under very different employment situations than us. So a lot of those meetings, rightfully so, are very concerned about how that affects them, and we have not gotten into because it's not been settled out a lot of this stuff. So anyway, thanks everybody for their patience as we kind of figured it out as well, and kind of moving forward. And giant bomb, here we go again. giant bomb.
Hey man, I
Just
know.
Yeah, the new studio.
Yeah.
Buckle up, or don't buckle up. No, buckle up. That's the safe thing to do.
I'm just upset that they didn't. I'm upset that they didn't use me as the face of like the sale.
What do you mean? Like, what's a face of the sale?
Well, back in 2008, when CBS came in and bought what was at the time CNET Networks, there was a trade magazine. I don't know if you ever heard of it, called Ed Age. I mean, you probably never heard of it. And they used a very freshly shaven and young photograph of Jeff Bakalar as the support picture for the story that CBS had purchased CNET Networks for $1.8 billion, whatever. And I don't know. What do you mean why? Because they saw value.
Well, that's the point, though. Is that they sold you this time for $500 million. They don't want to denigrate the brand. They know that the Jeff Bakalar brand can't handle that kind of shit, so they want to protect it.
It was a different time. We were just kids back then.
Yeah,
sure,
and money, as we all know, money goes down over time.
Oh man,
just saying. You got to make good on that.
The brand is strong, Jeff. I promise you.
What year was that? Because that wasn't too long after we started Giant Bomb, I think.
2008. And if somebody can find this, it's out there somewhere, because I found in like the Wayback Machine, I found the text and the thumbnail's gone, but the thumbnail metadata says, fucking Jeff Bakalar. So, just go find it.
So when I look at that in my text-only browser, in my links browser, instead of the picture of you, it just says fucking Jeff Bakalar. I hope.
I mean, I'll say this: I just started at CNET at the time. I had no understanding whatsoever about anything, and when that came out, I had people that I hadn't heard from in years. It was very funny. So.
I mean, was the person who took that photo the same person who took my promotional photo when Giant Bomb got bought? Because
no, that was a fan that we should have never let into the building. That I don't know why. When somebody asks you, "Hey, can I put you in a booth and take your photo? Here's a comb." Why you listen to them? That was you were the only ones to ever get that photo, and it's adorable.
Bless them.
It wasn't even it wasn't even like a still photograph. Like someone just like screenshotted a fucking video I was in or something and slapped that bad boy on the thing. It was cool.
So I kind of wish someone had done that for me.
What's the thumbnail people are using now? Is it a car? Is it Brian Cooley? What do they use?
Oh, there's a good joke for this one. I think it's I don't know. You guys spin the wheel of CNET insults and pick the one you land on. I don't know.
It's a refrigerator with a microphone. It's okay. That landed all right.
Dude, okay. Right. It's some sort of robot with like makeup on or something.
Okay, so know. Jeff Bakalar. Boom! Oh, that doesn't even make sense, but it was good.
You got me.
So anyway, that all happened as well. That was Monday. I was off for 2 weeks. The kids are back in school, which means they got their laptops out. Everybody's trying to figure out
being educated
to do this remote stuff. I forgot how exhausting these days are. God bless all the teachers out there who are also trying to figure all this out across these great United States. And we quickly realized now that they are in much more a all-day school thing, virtually and remote. That we got to build the kids desks for their room. We hadn't planned on doing that for a long time, because they can, as they're in groups and stuff, as you know, when you're on a call and two people are on a call in the same room, super annoying to have even headphones on and have an 8-year-old yelling while you're a 6-year-old trying to yell as well. So that allowed me to make a marvelous play, which was, we build desks. We tried to look up desks, but they're like all sold out. Like IKEA. We're like, let's just buy some cheap IKEA
really?
desks. Yeah, but they're like sold out. Their shipping is really weird. Their pickup stuff is weird. They were sold out, and I was like, well, we'll build desks. I'm a woodworker. I'll build that, but I can't build that fast unless we invest in new tools. So I definitely use that to be like, gotta gear up. We gotta crank out some desks. Gotta build some desks quickly. So we got some tools. I got some wood delivered, and I hit it this weekend. Got biscuit join those desks together. I got a thing. It's very expensive, and I was able to use the household funds for it, so it didn't have to come out of my toy fund to buy a thing called a domino, which those in the know that is a very expensive floating mortise and tenon situation. Because this is way too much information, but
You're getting there.
I'm getting there. Pocket screws are fine. I don't love them, especially on something that's going to get rocked around like a desk a lot. And so I didn't want to use the pocket screws on it, which is what the plans were calling for. This is kind of a quick build desk. And I'm a big fan of that mortise and tenon. And but hand cutting them takes a long time. Anyway, that's exciting for me. So this weekend, hopefully some desks. And I spent these 2 weeks playing nothing but Spiritfarer and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Now, who else has played Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020?
I've played little bits and pieces of it. Yeah, go. I'm answering your question. Yes. Now
It's
what?
awesome. I love it. I'm loving
It's very
it.
good. Yeah.
I sit in the planes. I just sit there and I flip all the switches. And if the stuff, now this does come out of the Vinny Toy Fund. If the hardware weren't sold out everywhere, I'd probably have a giant cockpit of like a flight stick and everything around me. It would be up to like here. You wouldn't even see me. But everything is sold out everywhere. Flipping all the switches, turning on all the planes, just sitting on the runway and takeoff and landing. That stuff like is nonsense. But just turning everything on is so fun. And I've been using my track IR, but I think my frame rate takes a little hit when I use it. So sometimes I just turn the hat backwards because it's a clip on the front of the hat. Turn my hat backwards when I play it to sometimes not use it. I've been mapping out custom controls for each plane. Really enjoying it. It's probably the thing I have. And again, this is like a, hey, 2 weeks off, I can play at night kind of thing. But probably one of my favorite things so far this year.
I've watched a lot of people playing Flight Simulator, and I found that weirdly soothing because I will never understand what any of those switches do or how to fucking play that game. But watching people who know what they're doing play it is very satisfying. So
I've been just trying out different planes. I fly from either LaGuardia. I fly from LaGuardia, which is here in Jersey, or Teterboro Airport, which is here in New Jersey, to Kennedy Airport, which is over on Long Island, and I just make that trip and trying out different planes and stuff. And it's cool. I'm really enjoying it. The other thing I spent a ton of time on, maybe too much time so far, because it's starting to lose me a little bit, but also still one of my favorite things I played this year, Spiritfarer. You guys, Alex, I know you played that. Abby, you've played some?
I have not. I want to. It's been on the list.
Okay. Jeff, did you play any?
Negative.
So I've played a ton of that. I think I've delivered most of the spirits. My boat's getting pretty empty. Starting to get into a little bit of just fetch questy stuff of running around between islands, which is not my favorite part. A little bit of just farming materials to get to the next improvement or whatever. I've got, I think, all the boat improvements except the very bottom one, maybe for the
last masthead.
Yeah, for the fastest boat, I think.
Yeah,
I might not have the biggest boat. I think the biggest boat is something like 80,000 glimmers or whatever. I might not have the biggest boat either, but I have the second biggest. So yeah, it's starting to, but I still like it. I'm starting to kind of not be as engaged. Just they make a lot of concessions. There's the fast travel. There's, do you want to skip the lightning in a bottle things or all those little things where you go through them?
Yeah, you can skip all those events.
Yeah, you can skip them. It's just it's becoming a little samey, but I am going to see it through. I'm very invested in it. I did have to look up one thing, which is a little bit of a bummer. How to kind of progress from one part. I hit a roadblock, which was weird. But Spiritfarer, I really like it a lot. We talked about it, well, probably 3 weeks ago now. It's a game that is, like I said 3 weeks ago, and I probably will stand by this somewhat after hours and hours and hours and hours in it. Harvest Moon light-ish. It's, you know, it's a game about raising crops and feeding people and using ingredients
and helping them solve their problems.
Helping them solve their problems, and I think that stuff is actually really cool and mostly well written. So, Spiritfarer popped on Factorio a little bit, and then was like, man, I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time in this. I can't do it right now. So that did not get too much play time for me, but I did go back into Red Dead Online, and I am tranquilizing animals. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I do it. I do it because my brothers play it, but like,
do they like it?
It's a good place for us to get together and have a nice long conversation about how everybody's.
That's what it is for a lot of people. That's what it is, because you're not having fun there, right? I mean,
I
kidding. I
don't know if I am all the time.
No, I know people who love that. I mean, so, but
so the new thing is I forget what they call it, but you basically have tranquilizer things, and you go out and you pump all the animals full of like 1,000 shots to get them to keel over. Then you go take a sample, and you get docked kind of reputation with the quest giver if you kill any animals. So I don't know. Abby, have you done any more Red Dead Online?
No, not in a long time. I kind of want to get back in and play the campaign again, but I haven't. I wish I was there for the Red Dead Online when everything was broken. I want them to bring that back.
Yeah, that sounds like the most interesting part. You know, I tricked my other brother into doing Factorio co-op for one of those sessions when my older brother was away. So listen, I got mine, and now we're back in Red Dead. We tried Fall Guys, and I tried Fall Guys. It wasn't a big hit.
That game, I think, is like dull. I think it's fine for like the first half hour you play it, and then I'm always shocked that people keep going back to it.
Yeah, I got like 3 or 4 solid hours out of that thing, and I feel like I'm kind of good now.
I think that game is like it runs hot and cold for me. I think you can really get yourself into a groove where you've had a lot of fun. You know, and like I was showing it to my wife, and she, you know, connected with it and was like, oh my God, this is so smart. I got to try this. And then, you know, trying it out with my kid, he wasn't so hot on it. I feel like if you get a couple kind of rounds back, I don't know. I actually do find some of the control to be a bit, little like, wonky, in a way that I just wish I don't know what I'm really looking for there, but some of that stuff is a little frustrating. I think it's perfect for what it is, though. So it's tough to really complain about what you get there.
Yeah, it was on PS Plus, so we got it, tried it out, and
it's the most downloaded PlayStation Plus game ever.
Heard that.
Ever.
Heard that. People like free stuff.
Turns out,
Abby, you play anything over this last 5 years that I've been gone?
Yes, I have played a few things. Yesterday I played Spellbreak for the first time, which is a new battle royale. I think it is beautifully animated. It looks amazing. I did the tutorial, and then I hopped into one solo match. I immediately won. I got a victory royale or whatever they call it in this game. And then I was like, well, I guess I can never play this again. I've beaten it. I won. I beat it. You know, I think it's really beautifully animated. It feels pretty good to play. I've been playing a lot of Fortnite lately. So going from Fortnite to that, it does feel very different. The main mechanics of it, it's, you know, a battle royale. You're going in and you basically have these gauntlets you wear. And the gauntlets are like elemental. So one might be like, I'm going to go in with my like fire or with like a gaseous poison or with like a wind thing, and then you choose that one, and as you go in you can maybe upgrade the one gauntlet you have, and you're going to find another one for your other hand, and the elements will work together. So it might be like, okay, I'll throw like a gas cloud and then I'll throw a firebomb at it and then it explodes, which is like an interesting mechanic, and I think it's gonna create cool opportunities for people to really kind of figure out how they like to play that game and like what loadouts they really enjoy. For me, I mean, I think only playing one round really, it was hard for me because there are also these scrolls you find around, and I've been like, you know, I upgraded my stuff with all these scrolls, and I think they're supposed to like give you buffs and just like improve things for you, and there's like certain clothing items too. But I found I was like, I can't really tell what this is changing or what it's doing differently for me. But I think that probably just comes with playing more of the game. But I felt like it wasn't as like visually clear as say like a Fortnite is with like here's like a different color gun, it's green, it's blue, whatever. Whereas this it wasn't as clear to me, at least at first.
What do they call the victory? What is the
I don't remember. I don't remember. I won, but
okay.
It didn't I don't remember. But
okay.
Yeah, Spell Break. It's also free. I played it on the PlayStation. Ran well. Looks really good. Yeah.
Anything else?
Yes, I have also been playing The Sims Game Pack Journey to Batuu, which is a Star Wars tie-in.
Oh, yeah.
It is apparently, which I didn't realize until after I talked on the podcast, and then my friend and reluctant Star Wars expert Casey Malone let me know that Batuu is, I guess, the amusement park Star Wars
in Disney World.
land.
That's the
Yes.
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it is.
Okay.
Which I didn't know, and I guess they have like character tie-ins who are only at the amusement park and not in like the movies or any of the other fiction. But you know what really stinks is I didn't find it very good, which I think is a bummer.
Okay.
Mainly because it is a narrative expansion, which is unusual for The Sims. They did have another one with the Strangerville, but the Strangerville, I think, was much more successful. One, I like the aesthetics better, but with Strangerville, you moved into a world that was just like any other neighborhood, and then you could have a house, so you could go and you could have your Sims refill their needs, and you can go to your job and make money while also uncovering this mystery. Whereas how the Journey to Batuu works is you basically go on vacation to Batuu, and you can choose where to stay. I chose to stay where the rebels were, so they have these tents around. But like there wasn't like a house for me. I didn't even have like a vacation home, which is how you have it in the other vacation games. So I couldn't really fill my needs easily. And I think it was maybe a little bit bugged because I couldn't even find a bathroom. Yes, Vinny?
I have a question.
Okay.
So in the Sims fiction of this thing, is it fiction, or are you really staying with Star Wars rebels? Or are you staying with people dressed up?
You're really there.
Okay,
like there was nothing to indicate like this is a fun little play. It's like, no, you're at
a rebel camp.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But that is another complaint I have is like they have aliens and like the Star Wars aliens, and The Sims does have aliens within the game, but the Star Wars aliens, it's just like a mask and like gloves you put on your character, and it's not like actual things that affect their actual body, or it's not an occult option basically. It's just like you put on a mask and you look like this weird alien. Okay. Which is like, it's like halfway doing. It's like a fine, but I think it'd be so much more interesting, especially in a game pack, to like have that mechanic there. But I think my main complaint is like once I got to Batuu, The Sims is not really good at traversal in like a large map, and that's a lot of what it is. And a lot of the zones on it, they look pretty cool, but they're really like not interactable. So you'd have all these buildings that you can't interact with, but then occasionally you can, and there's not, in my instance, there didn't seem to be a ton of strong indications like this is one you can click on, this is one where the walls will peel away and you can go inside of it. Like it was hard to figure out which was which. Sure. And I think at the end of the day, that was like the biggest issue for me was like there were too few ways to get my Sim happy. Like she would have to go to the bathroom, and there was no bathroom on the map.
I don't know if
and like I would go to a tent,
Star
and the
Wars
tent,
or what?
like the tent would have like you could nap, you could rest, and like you could sleep, but I couldn't go to the bathroom. I would have to So in The Sims, you can click their need bar and then they'll just like autofill like whatever, I'll just give you the closest thing. So I'd have to do that, but she would be like disappear off the map to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, give me a porta-john.
So the thing is, in canon, no one in Star Wars goes to the bathroom.
Apparently
or
not.
I'll just say, wait, I got one. Okay, wait, hold on. I'll just say, even in The Sims, everybody's shitting on Star Wars.
Nice.
Okay, right? Come on, everybody's shitting.
I couldn't go to the bathroom, but okay, sure.
Everybody's trying to shit on Star Wars. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to shit, but they can't find the bathroom.
Do you want me to laugh? Is that what's going to get you to stop?
No.
Have you gotten to the punchline yet?
And then they pee themselves, and then they're unhappy, and then they have stink lines. In The Sims, it's like the Star Wars, and then it's destroyers. Yep, now go on.
Yes.
It killed.
So the way the gameplay works is you have the 3 factions. You have the rebels, you have the First Order, and then you have scoundrels is what they call them, which is just sort of like, we're apolitical, we love to gamble, you know. And you can just side with whoever and do these like tasks for them, and the tasks are usually like, ooh, like a little bit of hacking. Maybe you're like, go like scan this like in canon ship from Star Wars and like bring back the intel, stuff like that. And it's like fine. It's fine. It's not as interesting as I think I wanted it to be. I don't know. I think I also just have some complaints about like how any of this will integrate into the rest of the game. Because again, going back to the other narrative pack they have, which is Strangerville, it's like I had a whole world I could live in, and like the aesthetics kind of went better with the rest of the Sims in general. So I felt like even if I don't finish that story, even if I never play that story, I still really like that pack because they had a cool world. I like the aesthetics of the pack, which is like very much a me thing. Other people I'm sure didn't like the aesthetics, but the aesthetics of the Star Wars pack seems so asynchronous with the rest of the Sims. And it was also kind of a bummer because like it would be a thing where I would have like a casual outfit, and they would have options for casual outfits, but they really wouldn't have options for like pajamas or like swimwear or just like the other aspects of the Sims. So it just would feel weird when like I would be like, okay, I'm making a Star Wars character and she has like a cool Star Wars outfit, and then just like a regular pair of pajamas. You know what I mean? Like I wish they just had some option to feel like it incorporated into the rest.
Sure.
Also, not to really just go off, I think this is more an issue with me in Star Wars, but like I do feel like Star Wars has some really cool costuming, like especially, and I know people don't like them, but I feel like especially in like the Phantom Menace movies, that whole movie series, like the costumes I think are like the one good
in those
thing.
Movies are amazing.
Yeah, they're like colorful, they're beautiful. Like I think there are a lot that are high end, whereas all of the costumes or all of the outfits in this game seem to be much more like, here's a brown tunic with like a lot of layering, you know? And I just wish that there was something a little more interesting and a little more like colorful and exciting that didn't just look as samey as everything else. I think
you want a little more of that Naboo, a little less of that Jedi monkish thing.
Yeah, and I think I want both is the thing,
Sure.
you know? But I didn't feel like I really...
The variety.
Yeah, had that variety. And it just made me feel like I will never incorporate any of these pieces into the rest of my game, which is like a bummer, especially when like the narrative is not super fun to play, at least in my experience. I was just fighting against like my Sims basic needs too much for me to really enjoy traversing this world that it seems like they put, you know, some care into and made it look cool. So it's like I wish it was a little more fun, like the actual mechanics of playing it.
It's The Sims. What's the name of the pack?
Journey to Batuu. Star Wars Journey to Batuu. It is a game pack. You got expansion packs, game pack, the middle one, stuff pack. It's a game pack.
And that's The Sims is on consoles?
Yes, I don't. So they have some of the expansions that go to consoles. I don't know if all of them do. I don't play on the consoles, but my understanding is they usually come a little bit later. So I don't think this is on consoles now. Okay. Maybe eventually this one will be.
I
feel like the Star Wars one almost assuredly will be eventually.
Let me ask you this, Abby Russell.
Okay.
All right, so we got this Star Wars theme park shoved into your Sims, right? How would you feel about a Sims themed park in Disney? Like what would where everything is like what would that be?
Oh my goodness. I mean,
is the only ride that they lock you in a bathroom with no door and just wait for you to starve to death?
Would you get like timer? Would you get like an itinerary with timers where you're like, I've got to eat now? I feel
like all I can think of that I would want out of like a amusement park Sims thing is I want like goopy carbonara, whatever that like weird spaghetti they always have in the Sims. I know it's like a real food, like baked Alaska. There's like a few iconic Sims things. But for the most part, like Sims is supposed to mimic real life, so it doesn't really make sense in
to have a
amusement
fake
park.
real life in it. Well, an amusement
Yeah.
park doesn't mimic real life at all. We all know.
I feel like I'd be more excited to go to the Star Wars one.
How about a Star Wars Sims one? And then we
Whoa,
get to both of
now
it.
we're talking.
Anything
You can't
else
go to
that-
there are no bathrooms.
No bathrooms.
It's really hard to find food. It takes a long time to walk and find anybody.
And in the end, it's maybe not worth the money.
Yeah.
Abby, anything else you
All
want
the
to talk
stuff
about?
you bought there you can't use in the real world. Anyway, I've been playing a lot of Fortnite. I really like Fortnite. It's been it's like my go-to quarantine hang out with friends game. And I've been playing with like a new group of people because I was playing with a group of people and then I've been meeting more people who play Fortnite through my Fortnite with St. Vincent feature. So like I had Bijan on, so I'm playing with like his group of friends and they are so serious. Bijan Steven, I should say his name. They are so serious about Fortnite. It's very intense to play with them, but it's interesting to play the game on like a different level versus my usual group of friends who just kind of fuck off and don't really care.
I had a weird. Bless you. I had a weird experience. Not weird. We played that Among Us game and it was really fun.
Oh yeah,
we all played that. And then I watched. Somebody said that. Oh man, everybody's streaming this. So I was like, oh really? I want to see if they talk during a thing or what happens. And I watched somebody stream it, and it was like super serious. And it was just like it got to the part where they're like trying to figure it out, and they're all like, nobody's laughing. Everybody's like, where was it? What time did you find the body? I was just
oh my
wow,
god,
this is like,
that sounds awful.
This is very serious. Whatever.
Yeah.
The people. I don't know. I played with people who take things very seriously, and it's never for me. It's like it's a little much.
Yeah, I will say settling more into his like gaming group. It's gotten a little more conversational in a fun way, but occasionally it will be like, oh, I'm in the middle of telling a story, and they're like, enemies on me, enemies on me, and it's just a little bit like, oh, okay, I guess I'll put a pin in that story for later.
This is social time.
Right, exactly, which is like fine. It's very fun. They're all very cool. I'm also really enjoying the Marvel season. I know I've spoken out against crossovers. I still don't like them, but I do enjoy the power-ups that come with them because if you like kill certain enemies, like you can kill Doctor Doom, I think it is, and you can also kill Iron Man, which I'm not as familiar with the canon, but it seems insane that you're going into the game murdering Iron Man. You kill him, and then you take his like blasty hands, which is pretty fun. I like the incorporation of those powers into Fortnite. I think it's a good time.
Alex Navarro,
Hi.
how you doing, bud?
I'm getting by.
You want to talk video games? Got anything you want to talk about?
Sure.
What's up?
Yeah, I've been playing some stuff here and there. I have also been playing a lot of Spiritfarer. I have no idea how close to the end I am. I have sent several of my animal spirit friends over the threshold to their eternal, life eternal or whatever the hell it is they're going to. But I don't know how many more I have to do. I think I will echo some of the sentiments people have had about the loop of that game being really good and there being too much of it.
Okay.
I think the pacing of it is a little off. I think they tried to stuff a few too many back and forth movements between the different islands and different, quests here and there. Like I feel like the flow of it is a little overstuffed. It hasn't stopped me from enjoying it, but it has relegated it to a thing I play for an hour or two at most, and then I immediately put it away because I'm just like, if I keep doing this constantly, I'm going to burn out on it.
Yeah.
So I've been moving more slowly through it, but I have still been enjoying it. I'm not going to belabor this too much because it's still a little raw, but I will say that I had taken a little break from that game. And then when Thelma passed, that day was real rough for me and I needed something. And then I booted that game up because I was like, well, that's at least, something that is not particularly challenging. And that happened to be the next mission was literally saying goodbye to my first animal spirit friend.
Oh.
And it hit me in a way that I don't think the game was even intending to.
Sure. And it intends for it to hit, so.
Yeah, but it just I fell out of my damn seat. Like it was just too much.
I would want to say for people who are just jumping in, Thelma, your cat for 10 years.
Yeah. 12.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's intense.
It was intense. I took a couple of days off before I went back to it after that, but I'm still back in it. In less earth-shattering emotional game experiences, I have been playing NBA 2K21.
Okay.
And I mean that in the most like there's absolutely nothing earth-shattering about NBA 2K21.
Uh-huh.
Did you play NBA 2K20?
No.
No, you
Yes.
did. We played it for a quick look.
Okay.
Remember?
Yes.
Okay.
So ask
All
me
right. Well,
again.
then you have mostly played this one.
Okay.
There is a new story mode that is fine, good. I would say like it's short. It's to the point. It's the story they've been very frequently telling over the last few years of a up and coming player becoming an NBA superstar, going through college, going through high school, all that stuff. I will say the story here, maybe intentionally or not, has a little bit of a callback to the old Spike Lee one that I think you and I remember very vividly.
I do.
It's not a direct story callback, but I will just say that there is a presence in that game who kind of looms large over your story and your life. Let's just say that person is in canon no longer with us on the mortal plane, but they don't go as ham-fisted wild with it the way that Spike did.
Is that a shame?
It's a lot. No, because I don't think what they do is it's not challenging in any way, but at the same time, it's like fine, it's nice.
Okay.
It's your dad character in the game who's played by Jesse Williams. His college career kind of looms over yours. You have like kind of a cantankerous sort of troubled relationship with him, but like he clearly wants the best for you, but has absolutely no idea how to express that to you without just like pushing you harder and harder. And it's done reasonably well. I feel like the performances are good. Like Michael K. Williams from The Wire and from Lovecraft Country and a whole bunch of other stuff. He's also in it as someone who knew your dad and is also maybe slightly shady agent. But it's like the actual storytelling is solid, and they, it feels like the story they are telling every year, but they have done a good riff on it this year. Is like the best I can say for it.
Okay.
But otherwise, it does feel a lot like last year's game. Like there are some slight gameplay changes here. Like they've redone the shot stick yet again. They've made some changes to ball handling yet again with the stick. And they're fine. Like they're good, but I can't say they've really changed the way I play that game. And a lot of the other stuff that's kind of just around the edges feels very similar. And this is a new console year, so that's not entirely surprising. But I think if you were hoping for like maybe a little more of a step forward, this is not that, but it does feel like a fairly refined and coherent game in a way that, let's say, like Madden does not. And they're a little less aggressive this year. I say a little less about hey, you need to fucking start buying some VC to, start doing everything. Like they still do the thing where if you buy the pre-order, like super edition, the Mamba edition, which is a Kobe Bryant tribute, they give you like the 10,000 VC you can then use to spend on your character to make them really good out of the start, as opposed to having to grind for every stat point over and over and over again. I wish they didn't do that, but they do it.
Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't know about the different editions. That's like a premium edition?
Yeah, you buy the premium edition of that game, they give you a whole bunch of VC up front, and the intention is you're probably going to spend that a whole bunch on your My Player character, either in stats or just in like, cosmetic shit. So I always buy stats, and so I had like an 83 ranked player like in high school, which is absurd, and I was just completely drilling everyone in high school and college. Once you get to the NBA, it's a little harder, but like the actual story part of the story, you're kind of like, once you have that, you could just kind of run roughshod over everyone, which I imagine people who bought the default edition are not having that experience. But they at least got rid of like the casino bullshit in the like the My Team mode, which is their ultimate team equivalent. So I don't know. It's like I said, it's a new console year. It's not a radical shift forward. It's a good game.
Do we know? Is it announced? I assume it is. But do we know what the plans for the cross-gen stuff is?
Yeah, so it is an upgraded version for next gen. It is $70.
So you pay the $70. Well, if you buy this one,
the next gen versions.
If you buy this one, do you have to pay like an upgrade fee?
I'm not sure about upgrade fees for this one. I'm not 100% certain, but I do know that the if you buy it outright for the PS5 or the Xbox Series X,
$70.
it is $70.
Okay. Anything?
And that probably isn't the Mamba edition. I'm sure the Mamba edition is like 90 or 100 or whatever the fuck. So,
any other things, Alex?
yeah, I've been playing a fair amount of that Tony Hawk.
Ooh, me too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the
fun.
Pro Skater 1 and 2. It's really fun. I am dismayed at the degree to which my Tony Hawk skills have just completely fucking rusted over.
That game is so hard. Like,
yeah,
I didn't
it is.
realize how hard that game is. I also think I grew up playing all the Underground games, which don't have a timer, and it's much more narrative driven. So, like, having
Yes.
it be very points driven and very, like, you got to do it in, like, a minute and a half. I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
it's really
the
fun.
pace
though.
of it is relentless.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, I'm making my way slowly through it, and I was never, like, a great Tony Hawk player, but, like, you know, I could eventually get nearly all the goals, if not all of them, and I could usually get through those games and complete just about every level. But now it's like if I complete one entire goal in a run, I'm fucking stoked. If I can get like 100,000 points in a combo, like I'm on the floor like screaming with joy because I am not pulling shit out the way that I used to. And I don't think that's the game's fault. I think that really is just my skills in that game have completely atrophied.
It's been a while.
It has been a while, and some of those levels, you know, they're real tricky. So, fuck Downhill Jam, always and forever.
Yeah, I think just to get on top of that, I think I'm a little disappointed with the multiplayer stuff.
Yeah, it's not the focus.
Yeah, it's clearly not the focus. I have a lot of friends who bought that game thinking like this is what we are going to be doing for the next 6 months.
Right.
And that honeymoon ended real quick.
Yeah.
I think if you have like people who want to like actually game together, it's not great. I enjoy the multiplayer for like similar to Fortnite, maybe a little less intense than Fortnite, of just like I'm having a phone call with someone while having something to do with my hands. I think it's perfect for that.
Just like Red
but
Dead
like as a single
online.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
As a single player experience, I think it's really good. I think the Vicarious Visions did a really smart thing with all the different challenges stuff that's built in there. The new soundtrack just feels like songs they would pick for a contemporary Tony Hawk game. Like they sound right for those games and fit in nicely with the old songs as well. Like it looks real nice. I'm genuinely just very impressed with what they did with it. And I'm not necessarily beating the drum that like, okay, this means new Tony Hawk, right? They got to do more new Tony Hawk, not necessarily, but I like that this exists and I can go back to it and I can kind of hit some of those memories in a way while also having something that feels modern and feels like complete. So, which is definitely more than I can say for the last couple of attempts at Tony Hawk games. So I'm very happy about that.
I wish that the clothes were better though. I feel like the clothes I found to be kind of a bummer. It's a lot of like boring t-shirts. I don't know. I think they could have had more fun choices. Yeah, well, I want like fun, boring t-shirts, and also give me like a goofy thing too, and give me just like weird looks I can choose. You know, if you let me dress up my character, let me dress up my character.
Be that
you could be the skeleton.
Yeah, but I could be a skeleton, but I can't dress like a skeleton. Like I made a girl who looks like me.
The bones of the skeleton.
I agree with this. I mean, the skeleton's cool. Don't get me wrong. I just wish I could put the skeleton in that like a night costume.
Yeah.
You know, or anything that's a little more interesting than like a t-shirt and oversized jeans.
I think that's
I'm
fair.
Just saying.
No, I think that's fair. Skate culture is long overdue for a fashion revolution. It hasn't really changed since about, I'm going to say 1995. But that said, I don't know who's out there making that push. I don't know that anyone is out there like saying like, no, you need to not just buy exclusively Volcom gear. And it just hasn't happened yet. One day we will get a truly fashion forward skater.
I hope so.
It's me.
Vinny's going to be the guy.
Vinny, didn't you can ollie, right?
I ollied once. I ollied once successfully.
Vinny can ollie.
I ollied once successfully. Ollied once, broke a skateboard in half.
Oh, right.
And it was my brother's, and I felt really bad.
That's how you know you're doing it right.
I felt
yes.
Bad. Alex, anything else?
Oh. So I also have downloaded Hades on the Switch.
Yeah.
That was in Epic Early Access for almost 2 years, I think. And I did play a fair amount of that game over the course of its early access lifespan, though I also kind of stopped after a while because I was like, you know what? I want to start this fresh when it's done.
Yeah.
Because I was enjoying it so much. So I have started it on Switch. I have not gotten very far. I'm definitely not past where I was in the PC version yet, but I will tell you that from my early access time with that game, I fucking love it. And I feel like the Switch version looks good. I wouldn't say it looks like the PC version looks at its best, but it looks very good, and it runs very nicely. So I've been enjoying that. I will have probably more to say about that next week.
Anything else, Alex?
That has pretty much been it.
I have backlog before we swing around.
Go for it.
I have a question we're doing this live, and I have a question for the chat because I can't remember the name of this game, and I want to know, and I want to put it on my wish list. I want to play it. I think it came out while I was on break. All right, chat, listen. There's an RTS game that came out, and maybe you guys know too. RTS game that came out, and it will look like Scythe. Kind of the illustrations look like Scythe. Very very nicely drawn, painterly stuff. What is this RTS game that came out? I saw it on Steam Flash by Iron Harvest. All right, second question. The name is Iron Harvest. Is it good? Is it good? Is it good?
Good question.
Should I play it? Should I spend time playing it? Is it good? Iron Harvest. Let's see if they get it right. Let's see if they get the answer right. Chat's coming through. I got one
Can't
yes.
wait to see.
Hard. Yeah. Okay. Pretty
hard.
Good. I didn't like
hard.
it, and somebody's very excited. So I think I think what I read was maybe it's not. So when I was keeping track of it, I saw it pop up on Steam, but then it got taken down off of the Epic Games Store, and so I was waiting for it to pop up there, and then it got taken down. And then it was on Steam. And chat, correct me if I'm wrong, because I was kind of just following this in a haze of being on vacation. It seemed like maybe it wasn't fully done yet. People were saying this game doesn't look fully done yet, and it's kind of maybe not all there. This is a great way to cover games, by the way. Do you guys really enjoy this?
Yeah, really.
I throw things out to the chat and then they reaffirm it.
It's very good.
Okay, good. Bacalar. Iron Harvest.
Yes.
I want to check it out. I'm gonna try and make some time to look at it.
Yes, Vinny, I'm here for you.
Bacalar, or
Yes.
do you have a cool new name for your flipped up setup here? Is it like
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
All right, whatever. I can't see your books as well.
You can't see my books as well. Good thing they were all props anyway.
I can't
And you
see your
my
shelf just full of
doggy.
so much stuff.
Yeah, my doggy though. Where's
Also
my
your dog.
doggy?
Marty.
Oh, he's there. He's
Maddie.
sleeping though. Look at this lazy little.
Marty, want to go for a walk?
Oh no, that
Anymore.
Marty,
you can't do that. I'm
Marty,
wearing the
treat-
cans now.
treat Marty.
Marty,
wanna
go to the
treat?
bathroom. Go potty, Marty. Go potty.
Marty,
Bacalar-
Many
sit where
treats
you
this
are.
Marty.
Sit where you are, Marty.
if you are not watching the stream here, you cannot see that Bacalar has like a DSLR with like a really sick lens on it. What is going on there with like a
That's a
like
prompter.
A sun hood?
That's a prompter.
Oh wow, that's a prompter. That's
Never seen a
tiny.
DSLR
Yeah.
before.
How many
That's
lines can you
cool.
get on that thing? Is it just like
It's just a letter at a time.
Refrigerator is good? How do you like? You gotta have some eyes to read that.
Yeah, you can only fit the words like and subscribe on it.
That's better than my joke. That's good.
Also, your desk is like it takes over the whole room.
Yeah,
It's
I have
like
a desk that
battle station.
wraps
There's so many
around
monitors
the
on it.
entire, and that's where I play my games right there.
Also, it
behind
looks
me.
like you have that craft mat, that healing craft mat on your table.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
For
Oh,
all
I
the,
have those
For all the
too.
cutting I do.
For all your Gundam and your
They're good mouse pads.
They're amazing. Well, I don't use it as a mouse pad. I just use it more as like a desk protector than anything else.
Okay.
But
Anyway,
yeah.
what else is going on? I bought you enough time. What's up?
Thanks. I still haven't come up with a Bizarro nickname. So
Okay, good.
sorry. I've been playing Avengers.
What do you
Oh,
think?
I've heard it's fine.
I like it.
Okay.
like it.
Great. Fantastic.
It's good, dumb fun.
Can you?
I
Is there any local multiplayer in it?
I don't know.
Okay.
But
great. Ask the chat.
So I was
You
just
know-
going to ask, how have you been playing? Have you
just
primarily been playing
the
solo?
campaign. The campaign.
Okay.
Yeah. It's dumb fun. It's good dumb fun, and it is exciting, especially that first hour. It's a good time. I started playing it because as a lot of my gaming gets started these days, it's because I'm looking for something to do with my son, and he was done. He was sort of burnt out on whatever it was, and I'm like, let's fire this up. And he doesn't really know Avengers the way I guess some other kids know it, but like Oh my gosh, it's an amazing nonstop sort of action scene, especially in that first, hour or so. And it's not like over the top kind of violent that I was like upset with. And my wife had a different opinion on it, but me personally, if you're just asking my
You mean in terms
opinion,
of playing with your son?
yeah,
Your young son, right.
But I'll say this: the reason why I found it cool was, you are switching between the heroes. There's enough sort of unique kind of variety in the skill sets and the move sets that each of these characters have that it just feels fun. It's I won't accuse it of being an overly cerebral game, but it definitely it gave me that feeling almost to the point of like I'm watching a new Marvel thing now. Not fully maybe or as successfully in the way that a thing like Spider-Man did, but I'm definitely really sort of bought into the kind of world that it created and the story that it's telling. So yeah, I think
good to hear.
I think they do it in a really kind of clever way, and I'm gonna see it all the way through. I think we're having a lot of fun with it.
I've heard mostly middling things. I think that's probably the most positive I've heard. But then I always take some of that stuff with a grain of salt. Of people just shitting on it because they're too cool for school to like this thing, or because it's like Marvel, it's big budget, and But like it's good to hear that it's fine because my
I
kids
heard
are
that
kind of
about
into
the
the Marvel
demo.
stuff.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
that
I've
about
heard that
betas.
everybody hated the demo, and then they played the game, and they were like, "This is surprisingly good." I from what I hear is people are like, "If this were $40, it'd be perfect."
Yeah.
It's maybe like it's an okay game, but it's fun. Like it's not a good game, but it's
there's
enjoyable.
there's no shortage of fun, and I think
Yeah.
there's enough. It's the red flags go up when there's like problems and it's broken, and I don't think anyone was really suspecting that, but I think there was maybe a lack of whatever you want to call it in that demo experience, but sometimes you just don't get that right kind of slice, I guess. And yeah, I think it's good dumb fun, man. I'm digging it.
Anything else?
Yes. What the hell was it? Oh, I started playing some of that Mario 3D All-Stars.
You did. What? Still you gotta tell me. What's the story, man? I got my kid here banging on my door, being like, "I gotta play Mario Sunshine. I gotta play Mario Sunshine." I'm like, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And then now here we go.
I tested that out.
Yeah.
And all those games they said that were in it are in it.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay.
And is it fine?
Huh?
Is it fine?
Is it fine?
Is it fine?
Is it fine?
It's fine.
How much
okay.
was it?
$60, isn't it?
It's $60.
Why? That's too much. Should be $30.
I mean, well, you're preaching to the choir here, Abby. I think, I think the thing for me that the first thing I did was play Galaxy because I was like, fuck, I have got good memories of that game, and that's still a little fresh in my mind. And I ran to that first because I was like, just hope it holds up, and it holds up for me.
Yeah,
that's where I would go to.
I recently played through that game. It's pretty fun. It's good.
Right.
There are a few things that maybe don't age super well, but for the most part, I think it's aged very well. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I
so
think
like
that's the highest official review score I ever gave at GameSpot.
Oh, really?
The Super Mario Galaxy one, yeah.
6.7. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Tough,
I was a mean guy.
I'm not so sure I'm gonna even like hover my cursor over the sunshine part.
Nor should you. No. No.
Music's good. What else do you want?
Yeah, I mean,
I have fond memories. I mean, it was a fun feature. I have fun.
I just hope he doesn't.
No,
get-
I enjoyed the feature.
Love
I enjoyed
the
the
feature.
company. I liked as the number of gumballs me and Dan ate.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good feature.
How many of those
the
gumballs had
gameplay.
broken glass in them?
Only a few.
Okay.
But you know what? I got to sue and I'm rich now. So whatever.
Excellent.
I enjoyed having Mark every once in a while have to come in and tell him to put those bananas in a certain order, and he had no idea why he had to rearrange the mystery bananas.
That was a different feature, but yes.
Yeah. Oh, right. That was
That was-
Burgle. That's right. Yeah. Same.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Same thing.
I forgot about all the banana shuffling we had to do with like people who were like, "What is this?" And come to our like cramped office while I'm dressed in like a monkey suit.
Wait, it was me all the time. What do you
Yeah.
mean? I was
No,
Mark
it
definitely did. It was you a
wasn't
lot,
all the
but
time. Yeah, it was
it's
you.
Yeah, I mean,
Mark
yeah,
sometimes. I feel like
you do
we had
that.
Brian
like,
once or twice.
you do that face. You remember when you used to come up look at me from far away and be like, come on, come here. We need you. 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
What are you doing?
2 seconds.
You going
2
to a
seconds.
meeting? What is this? What is
I'm not going to say what it is because if I do, I'll feel like such a fucking idiot, and all these people will judge me. So you come.
I have a business question, but in this office.
Let's come
Please
in this
here.
office. I got to talk to you for
You got a
minute.
second?
Yeah.
It's that dumbass banana shit.
you got to put a certain amount of bananas in here. Don't let us know. Anyway.
Wow, I miss this is making me miss the studio. It's been
I
so
know,
long.
I know. I wonder if that
Weird.
that little did we take that thing apart? That the burgle shop?
I think Dan
shit.
half punched through it. It kind of got taken apart, and then
He
most of
took
it just
that
got
with him.
shoved behind the screen
Okay.
to never be seen again.
He took that with him. You guys don't realize it's actually his Twitch set now.
Bacalar, the All Stars
So-
is it just like straight ports? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, they're straight ports. I hadn't played 64 in a while, and I feel like if you haven't played 64, I mean, this is probably the best way to play it, but I feel like
Well,
perhaps the sand in that hourglass is maybe running out. Now, I don't mean
I
like
don't know
that
what that
game will
phrase
that game
means.
will always be great, but I just think, and this is a personal take, and this is just how I mentally process games like this. These games that come out a million times, they are retro classics. They are timeless. Timeless. They are masterpieces. That game, I have fond memories of it. I know it's a good game, but I think you get to a certain point where your brain is just like, I can't do this, right? I can't. I think
yeah.
the time for that might be over. So you better do it now. That's what I told myself. I said maybe I'll play it one more time with the kid and close the book for me on it forever until they do like a true from the ground up thing, if they ever do that. And you know, because it's getting a little furry, a little rough,
Furry, a little hairy, a little long in the tooth.
long in that tooth, a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't touched any of it, right? It's just like straight up, let's put the game on.
It's
and
not even
emulate
16:9, man. Like, it is still a 4:3 game.
Okay.
You know, I do wish there was something there for that, but you know,
I
It would hurt.
wish I could just buy Mario 64 on my Switch. I would do that gladly.
Just it.
On its own for like $20.
Just that
Or
one,
$10.
yeah. Whatever. Yes. But I don't want to spend $60 on a game I literally just played, and then one that I don't ever want to play again. Just to
That's
play.
fair.
This other one that's been available on like
Sure.
every other console for much cheaper.
Fair enough.
I'm just surprised about you know, not giving 64 really any kind of love.
Here's the good news. All right, 64. I agree with you. There's definitely some stuff that could go and be tweaked. I mean, they were learning about cameras and 3D, how to navigate 3D worlds at that time, and for the most part, pretty successfully. But they have made a lot of very good Mario games since then. So
Yeah.
100%.
they have continued. Mario Odyssey, hell of a game.
I've
Ooh,
actually
I
been
love
thinking
that
about
game.
I've been thinking about booting that one back up and playing
Yeah.
it again, just because I desperately need something cheerful right now.
Yeah.
Mario Odyssey,
That's a good one.
hell of a game. Bacalar,
Yeah.
anything else you want to talk about?
I think that's it, you guys. I did a lot of Abby, you'll be happy to know I did a lot of Sudoku on my trip.
Nice. Good Sudoku? Or just Sudoku?
Just plain old paper Sudoku.
Oh, nice. Wow.
for
Old
some
school
reason-
Sudoku.
Yeah, for some
That's
reason,
great.
I like when I'm on the beach. I want to be like the person with like the
Screenless.
pen and the paper doing it.
Sure,
Great. While you're
why
in your
not?
long sleeves and huge hat.
Long
I
sleeve.
support this.
Huge hat and new for 2020, the long pants.
Oh,
Wow.
that sounds like an uncomfortable beach trip, and I support the way you do the beach. I like having an e-reader and just sit in the sun, e-reading. No
Sure.
sleeves for me.
You know, I can't afford that.
You mean the physical toll?
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
afford the you know the UV rays.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably shouldn't afford them either.
yeah, I mean,
Yet
you and
here
I are
we
definitely
are.
cut from the same pale cloth.
Yes.
I think
you can see through our skin.
Yeah, we're basically clear. I feel like I just feel like I you know, the pants were like a necessary kind of thing. Like
Did you get special beach pants? Because I know you have like a beach shirt, right? That's
I
like
have a bunch of-
waterproof, but are they like beach
Yeah.
pants?
I have beach pants now that all right, let's just get it out there. They're You know, they're tighter than you would think they should be. I guess because of like their waterproofness.
Huh.
I would expect them to be tight. I feel like it would be very uncomfortable to be swimming around in the water with loose pants.
Right.
Like, loose fabric is not good for the water.
Right. Now, look, you wear these tight pants and it leaves very little to the imagination.
I mean, that's just going to the beach, but
yeah.
I mean, yes, especially now that like like thongs are in style and that stuff.
Really?
And
that's true.
News to me. All right, Jeff.
You didn't know that? You guys didn't know that? There's butts.
I go to the beach. I wear my jeans into the water. I am.
Well, that is. You're like that dick.
I guess I forget
jeans too. I bet.
I also forget that like men's swim trunks half the time are like basically Jinkos.
Yeah,
like they're so big.
I got like the board short style. Like they go down to my knee.
Board shorts.
Yeah.
But they're so like they're big.
Well, you got to wear your chain on something. So you gotta...
That's right.
What are you going to hook your wallet to?
What am I going to tether my boogie board to?
So, I guess I wasn't self-conscious about that. I was just sort of like, man, it's tight on this beach.
Hey, throw me a towel real quick. Just throw me a towel just very quickly.
Sliding. You also don't realize like how thin your legs can be,
Sure.
Interesting.
Yes.
Just learning a lot about my body.
I feel like
that's nice.
I feel like from my time, there was a time when I would wear very tight stuff at the beach, like wetsuits and stuff like that. And I feel like just the immediate thing you got to do is just got to kill that suction as soon as you get out. You get out of the water and you immediately you got to break that suction so everything.
Bring the air in.
Yeah, air fills all the gaps. So just
like turn away from everybody and like get the air back in there.
That's right.
It feels like your garments are trying to suffocate you.
Yes, they're maybe revealing a little too much of the goods.
Look, we're all in the same boat on the beach. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's showing maybe a little too much. You just got to deal with it. You're all soaking wet. What are you gonna do?
Oh, look, the beach is inherently fucking disgusting as it is. So like,
yeah. Look, every once in a while, you're going to get a dong. It just happens. You're just going to see it. It's there. And it's like, okay, live your life, dong.
People in the chat are confused about the thong situation. I find it primarily for women who are wearing thongs.
Yes. I think I've also seen similar things where like thong bikinis are just more back in style. It's more like cool to have your ass cheeks out.
It was always a thing anytime I went to Europe. I feel like
I think it's more of an American purity of like a thong on the beach. Oh!
Yeah. Right? Like burn my eyes.
Worst part about the beach, the car. After coming back from the beach,
sand in the
car fucking hates you.
Oh,
the car's just like
hot.
Oh, could you throw 1 billion pieces of tiny glass in me right now? That'd be great.
I'm wet and sandy, and you're not going to do this after you come. You're going to wait a day. This car's going to sit here, steam up, and there's going to be hot sand. And then you got car seats now that are just like, we're just going to do sand in the car seat as well. Why don't you just throw a Go-Gurt in there for a week and see what happens?
I just love like, oh man, just some beach people like, and now social distance beach things are like everyone. I think I said this the last time I went to the beach and I came back on the show. Like people are making their own like territories with like
you gotta.
You should, yeah, you gotta.
You should, but it's almost like a music festival where it's like this is Jeffville, that's Youville, like
this is my mosh zone.
Yeah, exactly. It's what a fucking.
I'm sending an envoy over. I'm sending someone over. Excuse me. Do you have any suntan lotion? You have to knock on the sand wall, please.
But can I tell you more about like the trip I did? Like I was on a boardwalk, which is like a New Jersey staple, and everyone's wearing. Most people were wearing masks, and I did like an arcade with a mask on. I did like that. We tried to do. I touched it. Yeah. I mean, I didn't lick it. I touched it.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm still gonna need you to stay off this podcast for 2 weeks.
That's right. You're a little close right now. So.
We went the week after school started for a lot of people in New Jersey, so it was empty. So we did a great job with that. Nice. But playing pinball.
I'm sure they appreciated your business.
Right. That's how we rationalized it. Yeah. So it was a good time.
Did you come home with a pinball machine?
No.
Is this why you had to move to the other side of your office? Is there actually just 3 pinball machines off camera?
Holding up that side of the room?
Yes.
You got me.
At some point during the break, the door just gonna fall open and pinball machines just fall out of like a closet.
It's like, oh gosh, oh gosh.
Hold on. So still the same pinball. In this room you're in is on a second floor, right? So you can't get the pinball machines as backdrop in here ever, right?
No, I could podcast downstairs if you want with them behind me. I'll do that maybe one time.
I think that'd be cute.
Yeah, I mean, I stream from there, so I sure as shit can do this. Yeah.
All right. Is that it?
That is it. Yeah.
This podcast, we're at the first break. This podcast is over.
We haven't even gotten to the other stuff.
I know there is so much stuff. I
God.
feel bad. Like,
and this is why, folks, we're going to take our first break here. This is why the advertisers love us. Only an hour and a half to your first break. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back in just a few minutes here. Hang tight. It's not like we have anything really to talk about. Only all the new consoles announced, and pre-ordered or not, and whatever. We'll be back in a few minutes. Hang tight. Let me find the music here. Make sure everybody can hear it. All right, folks, we are back. And we've got some news. I got news. You want to hear my news? I got news back there. Are you eating still?
I mean,
I can hear your lips smacking. Look, I support it. I like eating on a podcast.
Let me talk to you about something. About eating.
Yeah, about eating. Look, you're better at it. Okay, I'm not good. I'm not good at it. I'm not good.
You're good at doing it fast.
Oh, yes, I'm gonna be. We just talked about that yesterday. I'm not proud of it, but a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a new shirt. Why? Because we're here to talk. Because we're all family and friends here. Bought a new shirt. I was like, I need to buy some new shirts, and I'm gonna try out some different shirts. But mostly, I just buy a cotton T-shirt. I'm gonna buy some different shirts. Oops. I bought. I was like, I never buy polyester stuff. This is when it was super hot. Remember when it was super hot and like 90 degrees and humidity for a long time? It's cooled down.
How could I forget?
And I'm like, I'm just destroying these shirts. I'm like really doing these shirts are disgusting. I buy some new shirts. So I bought a polyester shirt because I figured like, if I exercise, I don't care about this shirt. Big mistake. That sucked. I did not enjoy that shirt at all.
Polyester doesn't breathe. Why did
it sucked? I don't know. It was supposed to be like an athletic shirt.
Interesting.
It was bad. And then I bought one of most money I probably ever spent on a T-shirt. One of the merino wool T-shirts.
Ooh.
It's like $40. Fucking
Okay.
I love it.
That's
love
great.
it. It's my favorite shirt, but now I gotta wash it separately. It's got its own little like bag, it's a little hamper.
Well, what you gotta do is you gotta just get all those shirts and then never wear the other ones. I am fully
$40 a shirt. Who can do? I can't do that.
I know, but I am fully in support. I mean, clothes are a little different because you kind of destroy them. Like this shirt, I've had like 10 years. And there's like holes everywhere.
Yeah.
But
that's not a hole, Abby.
My elbow is
another sleeve.
Hole here.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's one on the side too. But I feel like I am all for putting an investment in on something you're going to use for a long time. I think that is worth the money. Maybe I'm bad with money. I don't think so. But I think spending a lot on one thing that you're going to use for a long time.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. So I have to see how the durability on the shirt, I think, before I go the full invest. But then I also think, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
As like a lady, I'm interrupting you. Like $40. That's
how
much women's clothes
is it
are.
now? Yeah. No. Well,
like, that's like
it depends what you buy. Listen, I know.
No, I get it.
Like my wife and I are not.
You have a daughter. You have a wife.
No, my daughter is like she has the most expensive clothes in the whole place.
I'm sorry, Vinny.
Yeah. What's up? What's up, bud?
Fucking guy.
What?
Telling me there's $40
for a
it's
T-shirt?
a lot for a shirt.
T-shirt.
Turn the fuck
For
around.
a T-shirt.
T-shirt.
But
T-shirt.
It's not. It's more than a T-shirt.
T-shirt. Don't look at anything behind me. T-shirt.
These are not 15K worth of Transformers.
First of all,
You can't wear those.
These toys transform into at least two things. Okay.
Hey, if you're
T-shirt.
gonna
Are they
use
made of
it
wool?
for
What are they
life,
made out of?
if you're gonna use it for life, pay for it. You know.
So, but the point of this story is, I was like, I'm gonna live this wool lifestyle. My wife has been doing it for a while. So her sister sometimes gives her stuff that she doesn't want anymore, and she buys a lot of it, and she's been singing its praises forever. And I was like, do I switch to the merino wool? Merino, is that the right word? Merino wool underwear.
Dan
And
Marino wool. Yeah.
Dan Marino's wool underwear.
Wool underwear.
Dan
Huh.
Marino's wool underwear. Because I was like,
What
I
do you think,
I
huh?
like what it's doing. I like what it's doing on the top. Maybe I'll like what it does on the rest of
I
my body.
support this, Vinny. I think having
wear
good
wool
underwear
socks.
is so good. I also think when you got like shitty, mangy underwear on, it just ruins your confidence on like every other level.
Okay.
Whereas when you got good underwear on, it's like, man, I feel good today. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Like,
hang
you know,
on.
maybe just you know.
No,
No,
Abby,
I'm still
Abby's
going
right.
off about underwear.
No, Abby's right about
And
my
I
shitty
think if
mangy
you want a
underwear.
hole in it, that's fine. If you don't want a hole in it, that's fine.
I was going to
You
ask
can go
about the
through
big
it, or you
hole.
can go over it. Whatever. That's up to you.
I'm just
okay?
saying there are levels. There are levels between
No, you either got
wool
the best,
underwear
nicest, most
and
expensive underwear, or you got ones that got holes and doo-doo in them.
and wearing a fucking dish towel that you duct tape to your crotch. Like there's a difference. There are levels between there.
No, Alex.
What is what is it about it?
About
Like
what?
why is it so the wool shirt?
Oh,
Like,
so I don't really know. I think it's very breathable, but like if I'm and this is weird. Maybe I just need to do like one of those hardcore washes on all of my cotton stuff. But like by the end of the day, usually in a really hot day, I'm like stinking. I just need to take a shower, and like that shirt is done. That shirt is not wearable until it
Can
is.
you not get the stink out of it or something?
I
Is that the
can
problem?
definitely when it washes,
Okay.
but like I'll stink that thing up right away. And like
I just
I'm
love how,
I'm using deodorant, and I'm not using antiperspirant, but I'm using deodorant, and
I had to switch to men's deodorant because they like don't really sell women's deodorant without antiperspirant. It was
No.
running on my clothes. It was bad for me. Anyway, I use Old
it
Spice now. I
kills
really like
so
it.
it kills my t-shirts.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, this is a weird conversation to keep having and nice tangent, but
It's-
like yeah, that's up. Not only I don't think it's great for your body, whatever,
Yeah, it like ruins your clothes.
but it can like really mess up especially my pits. Anyway,
where were you when Vinny realized clothes weren't disposable?
well, no, like listen, you like so I wash it and it's fine, but this wool shirt, it's like fresh as a daisy. I take that thing off.
Yeah,
well, from what I hear,
I made my
Okay.
kids go around and be like, smell the shirt, smell the shirt. It's
No,
good.
No, I hate this.
Your dad.
I
Hey,
don't want
smell
to
your
get into
dad.
that. But I do want to say this is that I think this is an actual thing. I want to say, so don't quote me on this. I'm sure this is I'm sure this is not accurate, but I think that wool has some kind of like antibacterial
I'll
qualities or
believe it.
something because they have those wool shoes that they're like, you don't have to wear socks with these
Yeah.
because they're wool shoes.
Well, that's what
and
Big
I
Wool
think-
wants you to think.
I mean, it's working for Vinny and his stinky body.
It's
so
true. My stink is like, and I thought it was me, and then I'd be like, I'll take this shirt off and change it. I'd be like, I don't stink. Cotton
right.
stinks.
I'm
Anyway,
You
buying
who
it.
stinks.
it's you
I'm
who
buying
stinks.
it.
So anyway, Schweppes, get into the wool brand so you can really sponsor the show. so we can really get some Schweppes. Go make a
Gotta get
chair.
some
Go
Schweppes
make a
in my office.
Schweppes. Go make a wool chair with go make an Aeron wool chair so we can really just knock this out in
yeah,
one shot.
can you Schweppes? Can you pair up with Herman Miller, please?
Yeah, make a Herman Miller woolen chair. We'll be all set.
Dude, this
We-
merino
Schweppes, do you
wool
wanna-
thing.
Merino wool, not merino.
There are some-
Merino.
Merino wool.
Merino.
Merino?
MER.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some takes. There's some takes out
Oh
there.
yeah. Oh, you don't say.
Turns out there's some takes.
Some takes.
Oh,
Get
weird.
that Marino.
Never happened.
Marino. Alex Navarro, you have been in like some. I imagine you in some CNN style virtual standing set, waiting for prices to come in on consoles. Here, folks, we have them just coming in right now out of California. We were there for the PlayStation 4 one yesterday. We were not there live for any Xbox stuff because it leaked out intentionally or unintentionally. But they're in. The prices are in. What happened, Alex Navarro?
Who do you think I am, Jeff Keighley? Like, fucking come on! I just read the same shit you do. Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about Xbox first because that already happened. I know Abby, you talked about it a little bit last week, but we didn't get to do live reacts to that shit. So, the Xbox Series X, $499. The Xbox Series S,
Okay.
which is the one that is 1440p and other stats that are not as powerful, $299, and they will be available on November 10th.
Also discless on the S. On the
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, discless. Now,
$499,
PlayStation-
$299.
$499, $299. Pretty sizable split between the two. Now, yesterday, as we all watched, we all learned the PlayStation 5. It's here. It's exciting. It's now. And it will be available on November 12th, 2 days after the Xbox nonsense. And the split between the two versions of that system, which are only different based on whether you get a disk drive or not, is $499 and $399.
Okay.
That's
So
it. That's the split.
So we're
That seems reasonable and what I expected. That's what I'm going
Yeah,
to say.
that's a very
This all seems fair.
nice take.
Yes. I also think, I said this on the last podcast, I'll say it again. I really appreciate that both PlayStation and Xbox, and I think they really learned from this generation, are coming out with their higher tier item as well as their like more consumer item at the same time. So I don't have to like 6 months in upgrade my console because
they
they've
will
come
do
out with
that.
a more
Yeah.
powerful.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Abby.
Yeah,
hey,
they'll still find
whatever.
a
I
way,
know. They'll have a redesign that will make the PS5 not look like a weird museum. But in the meantime, I appreciate this. I'm glad that they're coming out with a more affordable option at the get-go and coming out with a less powerful option. I like having options. I think it's nice.
It's a pretty even split for me. Like, I think that Microsoft has fucked up a little bit in regards to the way that they are having to message what the differences are between those systems. Because I think to people like us who are plugged into this shit, it makes sense. To people who are just looking for the new Xbox to buy at a retail store that no one is actually going to go to because we're still in the middle of fucking COVID and everyone's buying online anyway. I think that a lot of people are going to confusedly buy the new Xbox and maybe not necessarily get the one that the person who they are getting the gift for would want. And the Series X, Series S thing is just a little bit more confusing. But at the same time, the lower price compared to the cheaper version of the PS5, I think is potentially beneficial to Microsoft. I just think that the PlayStation pitch, at least, is just a lot less confusing because it's literally, do you want a disk drive or not? And that's it.
Yeah, but I do think what's going to happen, at least for some of the population, is they will just kind of see the S as the equivalent of a diskless Xbox.
That's right.
Right.
And I think they'll make that association of like, well, shit, $399 versus $299. Because don't forget and don't discount how much of that is still an important thing. We can dig down into the nitty gritty and really, analyze the whole situation. But when shit really hits the fan, it is a lot of that sort of, transactional relationship that you described, Alex, where it's just like, what do I get my stupid kid? And your kid's stupid. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, like, I think, I agree. I think Microsoft has had a tough time. If you are just looking beyond that, like what's cheaper kind of thing, I think they've had a tough time, making the case. But I think both consoles have had a difficult, situation when it comes to the compelling argument. And I still don't think day one is like this must buy kind of thing. And maybe it's not every year, but those years are gone. What matters is right now, right? Like, so
well, I mean, what seems to be clear at this point, and I mean, so a lot of the information we're going to be talking about here came from yesterday's Sony event, so we know a lot more now about what will be available for the PlayStation 5 at launch, mostly thanks to Jeff Keighley's Twitter account. But nonetheless, we have more information there. Microsoft still hasn't quite nailed down here is the definitive list of games that will be available on November 10th for this system. And they still have time to do that theoretically because they haven't even launched pre-orders for that thing yet. But at least we know what it costs and we know what the date will be. But with Sony stuff, we have a better idea of that now. And I will say it looks a little sharper than it did when we were still kind of banding about like what the fuck is even going to come out for this system. But it's still not like not a gangbusters lineup by any means. And I'm saying that even by console launch standards.
So I'm going to jump right in, feet first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's hear it.
I'm going to belly flop in the pool here. Okay. All right. Bear with me, folks. So.
Oh boy. Vinny's rubbing his head. He's looking up to God.
So if
just say it.
Give me the power.
Just start it up.
If we take Microsoft at their word and say the Series S will do most of the Series X things, but not hit 4K. So if you don't have a 4K TV and have a smaller hard drive, and if it still delivers on most of the other things and hits a solid 120, because that's what they're saying, right? Or should hit 120-ish or 60, a solid 60, whatever the equivalent is, but not at
Mhm.
4K. I think that $299 price point is really good. I think that is.
It is.
There are a lot of people out there who have not jumped into the 4K market. That this is a great console for them right now. Maybe not in 5 or 6 years, but they will probably have an upgrade path going further. And again, this is taking Microsoft at their word. So this is one of those things where like you might want to wait until Digital Foundry opens up one of these things and they test out what the real difference is between an S and an X and what the horsepower is. So the other thing is Microsoft, and this is why I was rubbing my temples. The Microsoft has also allowed you to bring your controllers forward from the Xbox One era into the Xbox Series X and Series S era. And that's a big thing if you're like not going to spend $60, $70 to get 4 more controllers or have to upgrade those things again.
Yeah.
I think the buy-in stuff with the payment plan option.
No, it's kind of what it is.
Financing.
Yeah.
And having that Game Pass with now, what is it? It's Origin. Well, not Origin. They stopped calling it Origin, right? But the EA All
They
Access,
stopped, yeah.
rolled into that is really attractive. And I think on the other side of that all being said, my initial gut take is $399 PlayStation 5 is probably the console. Like that discless one gets you where you need to be on a next generation console. I think it's a really easy bullet point. You don't need any of the other stuff I just said for that one. Like it's a good price. It's a price point we're all mostly used to for next generation consoles. There's no clarification about what the hardware is, I think, aside from that disc. And I think that's a really solid pitch.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that makes that interesting, though, is that, so there's on either side of that. One, I do think there's something a little odd, and I understand why this is, but it's still a little odd that the digital version of the Xbox, the Series S, has the smaller storage capacity, which I understand that those things will have external options, but it's like if you're going all digital, people are going to need some hard drive space to fucking put those games on, which is a choice, is all I'm saying.
There are a couple of just oddities with all of this, and that to me is the most glaring. I don't understand how you make the case for a diskless console with no hard drive space. I don't understand that. And don't tell me it's more expensive. It is, but but that's not what's driving up the price of this thing.
It ain't like Microsoft can't get their hands on fucking hard drives. Like, no.
I don't know. Maybe they just had all these 512s hanging around.
Well, it's that new M2 SATA stuff, right? It's not unless I'm totally off base here, but like that's what they're going for storage.
I think it is.
And so they have talked about expandable storage for that, but yeah, you're right. 1 terabyte on the Series X, I think, is small. Like 512.
It's crazy. And the PlayStation doesn't have a lot either.
No, it doesn't. Neither version does. And so the other thing with the PlayStation 5 on the other side of the coin is that, and I don't think this will be the case long term, but at least in the early goings here with pre-orders, there seem to be way fewer of the all digital editions available than the disc versions. It seems like there is like a pretty sizable ratio split in favor of the ones with discs out of the gate, which I from talking to a couple of people, I wouldn't be surprised if they're literally chalking that up to people who are pre-ordering consoles at the beginning are the ones that are going to spend the money. But like, it is interesting that they don't seem to have as many of those out there.
But do we know that for sure?
It just seems to be like the allotments.
That's the vibe I got too.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I've gotten too. I just haven't seen like actual data to back that up. But
so the only thing I will say about the Xbox, again, this Series S, because I think they've come out and said this, they're trying to version off their games, right? They're trying to say if you shouldn't have bloat on a Series S game that an X would have, but I still think it's too small. I don't know what the difference between a compressed 4K texture is and just a regular HD one is. I still think that 500 or whatever
it's just not enough. I mean,
games didn't easily pass 100 gigs right now.
Yeah, were they talking about user replaceable hard drives for the S? I don't know.
I don't remember anything about that specifically.
It did sound like PlayStation, there would be a path to do that. There's historically obviously always been one, but
not always the path they want you to take, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, but it's very easy to do it. I've done it on every PlayStation I've owned since, the you know.
Yeah, they love
everyone's-
it when you void that warranty, man. That means they don't have to take that fucking console back.
Well, it's just so simple.
I know.
But yeah, I wonder how that'll go. The storage is kind of this perplexing thing to me. That, I don't know. I think,
Does
you know,
everybody here have
me-
external storage on their consoles now?
I
No,
don't. I've replaced
I got
my-
nothing.
And you-
I
replaced
did.
my
I stopped using it.
Pro.
I have a mini SD card on my Switch, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you
that's
replaced
awesome.
your Pro, Jeff.
I replaced my Pro with a 2 terabyte. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, that seems nice. I say I have nothing, but every time I need to update anything
Oh.
on my PlayStation, I'm like, well,
But
let's delete this game, I guess.
And
Well,
don't
I guess
forget,
last year's Madden can finally go.
don't forget too that I'm willing to give these consoles the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, deleting a game might be a lot quicker and easier than it was this generation.
Hmm.
I think that's I don't think it should be a foregone conclusion, but I think it's a reasonable assumption. So we'll see. I'm very fresh on this because I just did a video. I just recorded a whole video about
Great.
like what should you do, right? Like what is this is the state of the consoles. If you're someone who's like, I don't know what to do about next gen gaming, I don't know how many people there really are. I think it's more of like a conversation of like, let's just talk about it, and that's kind of how I fashioned my video. But I think like for a lot of people that I do, or at least I guess my question to you is, do you think there's a lot of people who are like, I don't know what to get? Or do you think that's more on the Sony side or the Microsoft side? Because
I think
some of the things I talk about are like, I basically come out at some one point and be like, look, the argument for value is Microsoft. The argument for exclusivity and traditional console exclusive games seems stronger for Sony. And buy a 3080.
yeah, there's that. Well, assuming you can
and then
even
there's
get
that.
one of those at this
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
I don't know.
That's where we
I'm
go.
always shocked when anyone is like, I'm pre-ordering a console, I'm buying it day one, because I feel like shit's always coming out on the old console for like 6 months anyway.
Triply in this case. Like
Yes,
Yeah, well, and
like,
Sony
it's
has
been, like,
even
so long of like, I'm going to be using this PS4 and this Xbox One X forever. Not forever, but for a while. I still feel like they got a lot of life in them. And also, you got to wait for it to be like a got to buy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean,
Like,
even
yeah.
Sony, who has been Mr. Johnny fucking, we believe in generations over here, has also now been like, oh, yeah, by the way, Miles Morales also coming on PS4. Bye.
right.
Like, it's just like kind of trying to slide that shit in there. And it's like, I mean, I guess that was always the way it was going to be. It's just real funny to see it after kind of the way they have gone hard on that.
I mean, we're in an enthusiast. This is an enthusiast podcast.
Yeah.
These are people we're excited about this stuff, and we don't need.
I have never been
system
enthusiastic about anything.
We don't need that
No,
system
I
seller
Go
game.
vouch for that.
I'm excited for both, but I feel like it feels like such a wait and see for me.
Oh,
Like,
totally.
I don't know. I got a lot of life left in my consoles currently.
Yes.
But
I
like
played all of Breath of the Wild on the Wii U. I'll be fine
you
playing.
did
Miles
okay. So
Morales.
you weren't like ready to go with the Switch right away.
No, I got a Switch like a few months into having this job. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it took me. I wasn't right on the bandwagon on that one.
I think to Jeff's point, though, like, I think that, other than the brand loyalists and the hardcore enthusiast people, like, I don't think it's an either or. I think it's we'll wait and see. Like, I
Yeah.
really don't think that like the clamoring for these systems is out there beyond the scope of like the most enthusiastic audience. And those people have already made up their fucking minds about what they're going to do.
Sure.
I haven't. Like I don't know.
I
I'm-
certainly haven't.
Yes,
I
you
don't
have.
know.
You're going to buy both of them.
Oh,
You know you are.
Yeah,
You're
but
gonna
like,
buy
but-
both of them, but okay, so what are you buying a day one Xbox for?
My
I
job.
feel like for me,
no, aside
I
from
don't
that, right. Aside from that,
Nothing.
Like-
Nothing.
I think for me, eventually I'll probably have both of them. But I know for the last, like before I had this job, when I was on like my Xbox 360, I had an Xbox 360, and then towards the end of that life, I was like, there's a ton of stuff on the PS3 I want to play that is exclusive to the PS3. I'm gonna get a PS3. And it was like at that point it was cheap. All the games are cheap. It was
Yeah.
all used. Like that's generally how I did things. Now that I have this job, it's
That's
a little
smart.
different. But I feel like for me, I'm yes, interested in like what exclusive games are coming to this console. That's like a big one. And right now I think PS5 is probably winning that. Although Game Pass is exciting on the Xbox, but
They both have their value
I
propositions.
think the biggest thing for me, and I think for a lot of people, is like, what are my friends doing? Like,
Yeah,
are all my
right,
friends on
right.
Xbox or are all my friends on PS5? Like, I think that's why I switched over to PS4 coming from the 360. Was like, well, all my friends are on PlayStation, so yeah, I'm gonna get a PlayStation.
I think that is still a valid argument. I think that is becoming an increasingly or maybe that's becoming less of a
I mean,
deal
it's like more
breaker.
crossplay, and
Right,
like
like
it's easier to play with your friends who aren't on the same thing. Like I
totally,
play,
and that will only get that
more
will
on a ton of shit.
totally, and that will only get more narrow, right? Like that will, presumably get to a point where it is simply not an issue anymore. But
Did
I asked that
sorry.
to you. I asked that to you, Vinny, about Xbox
Yeah.
because I know you have a decent PC.
A decent PC, yeah.
And then that's where the conversation ends. I mean,
well, for me, right? Yes. So the thing is, and I've said this ad nauseum. So people who've watched the other 17 streams you've done in the past, it's like I play with my family, right? And we are currently on PS4, and I really think the Microsoft and Xbox ecosystem would benefit them more than the exclusives on PS4. That being said, like my brother really loved Red Dead, or sorry, not Red Dead, Last of Us 2 and stuff like that. So like he likes those exclusives, and if he moves over, but I think Game Pass is the seller there, and so not for me. So yeah, I could get a PS5 discless one and be pretty happy, I think, with the PC for a long time here.
Yeah.
So that's for me. Again, I will probably get both. I might not get that Xbox console right away. Like I said, I think I've said this other places. I never got into the One X. I still have my launch Xbox One because
really?
because
have the fancy like launch controller.
The day one edition.
Yeah, I got my day one controller right here.
I got my day one
cool.
controller right here too.
And it's not even that filthy.
And it's not even that filthy.
You guys are dorks, but
and you're showing the audience and not us. I want to see it.
Fantastic.
The thing though,
oh, that's filthy.
Ew, that's gross. Ew.
The other camera can't see the filth as much, okay?
Just
get a wool
peek
controller
behind-
next time, Vinny, please.
Peek behind the curtain a little too much there.
You want some wipes? I got some wipes here if you need them.
Good for you.
I think I think Microsoft, obviously they know, like that's the thing, they know this and they're okay with this, and that's what the dawn of this generation is all about how they have completely pivoted into a different business, and their business is service, and that's what it comes down to. Because if you have a discless Xbox, you are buying all of the games through them. You have no other choice, so they can control that. You are buying Game Pass almost certainly, and that's what they want. They want to hit that button once a month, and that's what it is. And it's not as service focused on Sony's side either, but that discless PS4 is just as sweet for them. They control the transaction, they control that funnel, and that is really what it comes down to, because you want that locked down.
So that's not the only thing that Sony got out there and did during their kind of 40-minute-ish press conference. They did announce that the PS Plus collection, where they're going to bring a bunch of PS4 games forward onto the PS5. If you have PlayStation Plus, you'll get these at launch, I believe. You'll get these playable versions that I don't think are. Alex, are these upgraded at all? I think these are just play these games, right?
It wasn't specific about that as far as I could tell. There might be some little visual bump here or something. I don't know, but it seems like it is just going to be, hey, here are these PS4 games.
There is a lot, I guess, to still find out about the collection thing, because the first thing I want to know is, can I do that on PS4? Can I get that stuff if I have a PS4? Because that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Will games leave that service? right? Is
Right.
that ever going to be a thing?
Like, are they there forever as long as you have a Plus subscription, or
Right.
like, is there a rotation?
And that concession should seem like somewhat of a victory for Microsoft because Sony had to do that. They had to.
Mhm.
Now, don't get me wrong, Collection and Game Pass are not a one-to-one thing.
No, not even close.
Not even close. But that is a concession. That is an acknowledgement of, yeah, we got to give you something.
But here's my problem with it, though. It's like, yeah,
you bought all the games already, no doubt.
It's the way to do it. You want to say, here are the best games coming to the PS5, but if they're the best games and you had this PS4, what are you doing? If you were already a PS4 member with PS Plus, what were you doing? I guess if you're getting into this for the first time and you're buying the system, you're rolling up these games. But like, as somebody who has like been in the PS4 thing, it's like, yeah, man, these were the greatest games on the PS4. Fantastic. I'm not playing them again. But if you're jumping in and you need games to play at launch, I get it.
Yeah. Look, like I said, it is nowhere near what Game Pass is. But it is an acknowledgement of like, we kind of have to.
We need something here.
We kind of have to match. We have to match that column. So yeah, I don't know if it does. It obviously doesn't do nearly what Game Pass does for PlayStation in the value or value prop category. But you know what else? Something I discovered that I kind of dug into a little bit. So there's not going to be cloud gaming on the consoles.
What does that mean?
Like you won't be able to use what was called xCloud, right? Like you can't use xCloud on your Xbox
right now. Isn't it coming?
I don't know, man. I've yet to been able to like confirm that is the plan.
I thought that was the plan. Was eventually.
I've yet to be like. I reached out. I did some, looking around. Like, I'm not saying it's never going to happen, but you cannot do that right now.
Let me clarify this real quick. So what you're talking about is using the xCloud service on your Xbox, not using your Xbox as the source for your xCloud use on other things.
That's different. That's streaming.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to be absolutely clear about
cloud stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. And the reason you would feasibly use that on your Xbox is if you were playing something that was like a PC game, right?
For the cloud thing?
Yeah.
Well, no, the cloud thing, what they have right now is just on certain Android and mobile devices.
Right.
And that
I'm just saying when you're playing on your Xbox, because presumably if you're playing on your Xbox, the game would just be there. But what I'm saying is stuff that isn't necessarily on the Xbox.
No, not even, because I think, and the sort of follow-up to what I just said is that, well, you could just download any of those games and play those games. My point is you cannot do the cloud streaming.
Right.
You can host the games, right? Like understand, like presumably you can host the games the way you can now by having your Xbox be
a shared
the
device,
cloud, right?
Right.
The shared. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting kind of thing. But look, it seems like a thing that would happen at some point, but I know right now you can't.
So they did the collection stuff, which again makes sense mostly, and also a lot because as they went through that press conference, they had not a lot of stuff is going to be at launch, and like Alex said, a lot of this stuff is going to be PS4. I think the thing that was probably most exciting for me was seeing Demon's Souls. They had a pretty decent chunk of that, and that got me excited. It's not a fresh game, but it looks like it almost looks like a reinvention of that game. Like it's been long enough. That game is so much in my past that kind of excited to check it out and play it, and that's exciting. But yeah, I don't know. I think there definitely is something for me, for Vincent J. Caravella, that looks at that Sony PlayStation 5 stuff and says, I need to get that console to play these games. I can't do it on my PC. This is the only way in.
Yeah.
And that's
that's going to
be worth $400 to me.
If you want to play whatever the hell Naughty Dog does next, if you want to play another God of War game, which
there's another God of War coming.
People, I don't understand the people who are like
God of War game.
No, God of War is amazing, but like people who are just like, can you believe it? They're going to make another one of that.
That game was very successful.
I thought
2021, that last one will have been 3 years old.
Yeah, like okay, great. That better be coming, sure. So I mean, I think. But yeah, if you want to play those games, and that goes back to the point of like right now, that exclusive library just feels, short, mid, and even long term just feels stronger for Sony. I think that's going to get better though for Microsoft and PC, right? By extension.
For sure. I think well, here's going back to Abby's point, and also Alex, I think you kind of chimed in on this. If you're sitting tight on this one for like, I'm gonna say 3.5 months, maybe 4, you might have to wait half a year before we really come down to the real, like, okay, here's a game that's on both consoles. This one gets you 120 frames per second. This one gets you a solid 60 at 4K. Like, people will be doing that. We will eventually hit a mark that is, I mean, it's so close right now. I assume it'll be pretty close in the future, but they're also trying to push higher resolutions. And I feel like we're going to see some kind of like, PS5 or Xbox Series X dips below 60 at 4K or whatever it is. If we have a lot of these games that have look pretty, run better, if that's going to be some of these options we're going to continue with, we're gonna see the math on that. And if that is the biggest experience for you and you're not on a PC because that's a whole other investment, then I think that might weigh on some people of, not a lot, because I think you guys are both right, of if you already have a PS4 or an Xbox and you're in that ecosystem, this sounds like it's a pretty easy move forward, like sticking with it. I don't think anybody's going to sway, but if you're looking for the best console to play some of this stuff on, and if it's not a blowout, it might be tough. I don't know. It's a weird one. I think I don't want to go in circles too much of like, hey, if you have a good PC, then the PlayStation thing. We also have AMD coming out with new cards. We have these new cards from NVIDIA. A lot is happening on the PC right now. Jeff Backler, are you frozen?
Oh no.
We lost Jeff.
I just thought he was sad and pensive.
Yeah, no, he's fine. Anyway.
We have a lot of stuff going on the PC as well right now, which is kind of exciting. He'll come back.
Apparently lots going on Jeff's PC.
Okay.
So.
I'm all right. I don't know what
Where were you?
Uh-oh,
What
it's
happened?
the flipped around room. Your computer was like, no
moly.
more. I'll accept it, no more.
So the next bit I want to get to, just kind of move it forward a little bit, is then there was the pre-order stuff. Then there was what happened there. Alex, what happened here?
So let me ask you here, all in this here roundtable here, who here actually managed to get a pre-order that wanted one?
I didn't try at all.
I didn't try at all.
Jeff?
I did not try.
Okay, so none of you tried. Respect that, 100%.
Did you try?
I wasn't going to.
Okay.
No, I wasn't going to. I started seeing the reports out about like Best Buy site crashing, like Target's carts being broken, and all sorts of other shit. And I was just like, I'm not going to mess with that. What else? I'm just not going to bother. And then right before I went to bed, Wario64, bless his fucking affiliate link heart, tweeted out the Amazon link. And then I saw it right as it went, and I clicked on it, and I got it. So I got a PS5 through Amazon.
You did?
Big one or small one? Disc or no disc?
He's a disc man.
Ooh,
that's a disc man.
I buy 4K Blu-rays. I'm a complete fucking rube.
I like
it's
it,
who
Alex.
I am.
Yeah,
I support
Alex is like one of the like 3 people I know in my life that I'm like, that guy's getting a disc one. That's like,
good.
Yeah.
Yes.
When
I did.
When all our digital rights collapse, everybody go to Alex's house so we can still watch movies.
Yeah, so I got one, but it wasn't because I was like frantically refreshing pages or anything. It's just that I happened to be in the exact right place at the right time to do it. So I lucked out.
Which is kind of either in front of your phone or on your computer watching his Twitter stream go through. So it is kind of.
I don't look through the Twitter as much during the night as I used to. I'm a lot less of that.
Turns out Alex happened to be looking at his Twitter feed at that moment.
This seems out of character.
Look, man, I only looked right before I went to bed. All right.
You caught it. You caught it at the right time. Time. So you have one in, and so far not canceled from Amazon.
Not that I've
And Jeff Keighley hasn't called you to say it's a mistake.
I don't know. I mean, Jeff Keighley was taking a lot of phone calls yesterday, apparently, because he basically made up like half the information that came out about that Sony shit over the course of the hour after that thing ended. So
is someone gonna like, I don't know, unpack that situation a little bit and just be like, oh, we gotta maybe stop telling him stuff, maybe, or like,
no, it's not that they're like, that's what I don't think that's what it is. I think it's literally that like all the stuff they just decided they couldn't put in the presentation for whatever reason. They're like, all right, just start funneling that shit to Keighley. Just get it all to him. He'll get it out there. It's fine.
It just seemed like that sowed more, chaos than anything else.
It was chaos. And the way so the pre-order thing, it was a mess. It seemed like it was a mess all the time. Like there was no unified rollout. It was literally Sony saying retailers could start take pre-orders as soon as tomorrow, and then they just did them that day.
Yes,
like there was no fucking law.
That's kind of where I walked away from it. Was like, okay, they're going to open up pre-orders tomorrow. I wonder how that's going to go. And then I think I checked back a little later, and like it was just people running around online, being like, "It's here! It's here! It's here! It's here! It's here!" Germany has it, like a Canadian Walmart has it. It was just, it was wild. And so, so did they break a date, or did they have the information wrong? We don't know.
No, I think what ended up happening is that Sony was absolutely desperate to get these pre-orders going, much the way I'm sure Microsoft is also very desperate to get this going because they want to start that shit up. And as soon as they realized, one, that they could announce the price, now that Microsoft shit was already out there, they put this presentation together as fast as humanly possible. Hence why a lot of stuff seemed to be left hanging in the air. And two, they told pre-order like retailers like, "Hey, we're going to announce pre-orders, get them ready." And then as soon as they said go, they just went. Like there was just no organization around it. It seems like it was just, no, we need to get these fucking pages up. Go.
Is the anecdotal? Because I know there was a story while I was on break there. I saw something float by about Sony. It was a rumor. I'm not sure if it ever got verified about stock for the PlayStation, maybe hitting a little bit lower than they had expected.
I think it was something like 11 million units are expected to be in the wild this year.
So anecdotally, are people that, because I haven't paid too much attention about the pre-ordering, they're finding a lot more disc versions than discless, or the discless. Oh, geez. What the fuck? Are the ones with no dick just selling out faster or not?
It's anecdotal at this point. Like you said, there's, like Jeff said, there's no hard data to corroborate this, but it does seem like the digital ones, there's just fewer of them to go around.
Digital ones, that's much better.
Seems like that, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when are the Xbox ones going up? When can I be a part of this?
They haven't said yet, but I imagine it will be very soon. And if I'm Microsoft, boy, I sure hope they looked at this and said, "All right, so how do we not do that?"
What are you talking about? No way. They're like, how can we drive people to bang on pages even more like this? Sell them out.
I do think Microsoft's not thrilled. I think getting, kind of like, because getting
lapped on pre-orders is bad. Like they didn't want that.
Like you don't want an event to happen, pre-orders going live minutes after it concludes, and you've been like, "Yep, we're just waiting for our page to go live. We've said it, and oh look, there this goes. I hope that doesn't cut into the people that would want to buy our thing."
Apparently, September 22nd is the date for the Xbox pre-orders. If people are saying in chat. So I think if you're Microsoft, you want that buzz of like, oh, because I'm kind of a little itchy now, being like, oh man, if I see them go up, should I pre-order a PS5? Or these? I'm already broken. It's already like taking off a little part of my brain that's like, Vinny, you're gonna miss out if you don't get in on this. You better get one. Who knows when they'll be available again? Which is, maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. It's a mess. Maybe will we not? If you don't pre-order one now, will you be out of luck until March of next year? Will there even be a March of next year? I don't know.
That's a big question.
I think that that's the only damn thing that happens every console launch is this moment of like, you know what I mean? That's the only reliable constant of this whole thing is like, short. And I get it. You want your thing. You should be able to get your thing. I get it. Can we just real quick touch on the all access financing thing with Xbox?
What about it?
Like get CBS All Access?
Yeah.
No, you know what that is, right?
You're talking about like the monthly payment stuff.
Monthly payments, we did talk about that briefly.
Okay, maybe that's when I went into the void.
No, it wasn't, but it's okay.
Yeah, it was a different void. I think it's an amazing deal.
Yeah. I think you could do the math on it, and it's not really like that much of a an interest kind of thing, and it's like, I don't know, I just feel like I always wonder, like, is this the thing you want to get a credit check for?
Like
You
payment
know, like-
plans. Payment plans make like put my hackles up immediately, but like the math, like you said, the math on it seems like
the math seems okay.
Seems
it's a li-
okay.
it's not 1-to-1. It's not to the cent, to the penny, but I don't know.
So yeah, I think it's people do it for phones. People do it for a lot of other pieces of technology that are big spends.
Yeah, but phones are $1,000.
I mean, they were. 400.
I mean, these consoles are half of that.
They
Yeah.
used to not be.
I mean, there are sites that let you finance pretty much anything. So
I put my first amp I bought from the Guitar Center I had on layaway. Do people use it layaway anymore? It was a layaway at the time.
Yeah,
I used to
think
go
that's the
visit it and
thing.
make payments. Go there and play with the electronic drums and make payments on it. So yeah, I mean, listen, I'm sure that was like $100 amp at the time. I have no idea. In my mind, it was $70,000, but I'm sure it was like
Right.
It just seemed. I mean, I think that leads more into their whole idea of services and pivoting of their business structure, and it's a great deal. Like, I don't want that to be, missed in this whole thing. It is a good deal.
I mean, but like you
So.
said, give that console away for free. You're gonna buy all the games digitally. They're making money off your data anyway. Like at some point, it's a win-win for them, and maybe a win-loss for you. I don't know. It's probably not a win-win for the consumer, but what is really? Anything else on the Sony stuff?
Yeah, I would say there's a couple of things we should probably just touch on quickly here. So, they on their PlayStation blog, they did emphasize that there will be a range of prices for next-gen video games, especially coming from Sony first party, and that range will go up to $69.99. So the groundwork is being laid here for a more standardized, perhaps upper tier of AAA games pricing being $70 going forward. Here's the thing. I mean, I'll express the same opinion I've had about this the entire time. I understand it's been a long time since the uniform price of games went up. I understand that development costs have fucking skyrocketed. I also understand that fucking executive bonuses have skyrocketed in that same amount of time. And if there were some way that you could, in fact, inform me and prove to me that this money was, in fact, going to, let's say, ballooning development costs and not fucking Bobby Kotick's next ivory back scratcher, that would be great. But I don't think they can do that. So especially now, given the situation we are in and the likelihood of where the economy will be when these fucking consoles come out, a $70 game proposition right now maybe just isn't the smoothest thing to go down. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel great.
Yeah, it's I agree. It also is like I'm hopeful that with more things like, Game Pass and all of these other more subscription services, that it'll help negate some of these costs for folks, because that is a lot of money. But also, I don't know, games are big. They're a lot to make. Like, I feel like for something like, Red Dead specifically, it's like I got so many hundreds of hours of gameplay out of that game for like a pretty nominal cost, considering how much time I put into it. So part of me is like, well, but I guess maybe that's why we see more subscription-based stuff too.
Yeah, but again, my implication is not that there's no justification for raising game prices. Yeah. It's similarly just the timing and the likelihood of what this is actually going to benefit.
Like if this came along, if they're like, hey, we're raising, this is going to be a new thing for the next, we're raising prices to $70, and more studios are adopting unionization and standard rates for developers and more time off, and like we're that's like a whole industry wide change, but just the raising of price, like Alex said, for profit, possibly profit margin sake, there's zero trust. There's no trust that money goes to the people who deserve or need it. And I suspect when you standardize a price like that, some places will use it effectively, and some places will say, "Oh, listen, we can squeeze a little more off the top on this one." So
I am in no way defending the price increase. I think, though, like, there is, especially with like this kind of legacy that we've enjoyed for a while of it being a certain, price. But to me, that's where I kind of, to me, I understand. I guess I don't understand. I guess I do understand where that's going, right? Where it's like, how many years has it been $60?
Since at least, I want to say at least since definitely the 360 PS3 era. I'm trying to remember if that was the case for like GameCube, PS2 era, or if those were $50.
I just, even if you adjust for inflation, right? Like,
Yeah.
There's certain things outside of the bonuses and all that stuff that, I think is worth considering. But I agree, like when it lines up with the timing of what the economic situation is that we're faced with, it sucks.
But the other thing,
Yeah.
just to make the pedantic point of because it's my favorite point to make, of when was the last time you paid $60 all in for a game? Like you pay $60 by the time you're done with that game, cosmetics you're buying, season passes you're buying. All these
You've been paying this for a while. You just don't realize it.
Right. They have found that you're playing to play multiplayer. Remember the multiplayer passes you used to have to put in there, those used games. Like they have found other ways to kind of.
But then you couple this with the fact that you have a digital, console, and your physical disc isn't there, and maybe there's a value lost there a little bit. But it's all things to take into consideration.
I think the biggest thing is, like, to Alex's point, is like how much. Who the hell trusts a gigantic corporation to take that extra money and then spend it where it probably needs to go, versus being like, wow, we just made $10 per unit.
Yeah, that's a fair concern. Real quick before we also move on, I wanted to just double check my math with the all access, and it's pretty close to being even. But believe it or not, if you do this all access thing for the Series S, and pay your payments on time, because if you miss 2 payments, you get charged, interest.
Late fee? Okay.
It's not great, and your credit will suffer, which is also a thing that you can't really put into a number. But you save $60 over the lifespan of payments for the Series S, and $20 over the span for a Series X. So just some food for thought there.
Yeah, I think again, making not a point that needs to be made, but like, my worry with that stuff is has the option to be predatory on people who can't afford the thing up front for various reasons, and then hoping that you'll make those payments or have that money to make in the future, versus being charged that stuff later. So it's just a caution. That's why those things always worry me in those kind of terms, because if you don't have the money up front, you're usually hoping the money will continue to come in to pay those things later on, which
I mean, like, it's
but yeah, it's an option. It's more options.
Yeah.
It just has to be. I think it could be used as a very good option for a lot of that stuff. All right. Anything else from the Sony thing?
Not really. I mean, apparently the cost of the controllers are now known. Those will also be $70.
Also $70, right. Which is actually cheaper than I thought for that. Was it the DualSense? Is that what they're calling it?
Yeah. So that's pretty much the gist of it.
Do you think a couple more games might sneak into that official launch lineup before November?
Well, I just got news in my inbox right before this podcast that the game we've all been anticipating, Godfall, has gone gold on PS5 and will be available on November 12th. So there you go. I mean, that's huge. I don't know why I'm first that game. I don't care about it, and it's just hard for me to get excited about it. But I feel like they want to keep talking to me about it, and I don't want to talk about it.
That's the one they blipped into that Microsoft press conference for like a 30-second gameplay thing, and then just blipped right out, right?
It was that Microsoft, or was that the Gamescom thing?
Maybe that was Gamescom. You're right. I think that was it. Sorry. Yeah, that was very odd.
Yeah, that's not an unpopular opinion on this thing.
Okay.
I mean, you know that, but it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's great. I don't know. Like, but there is something that when I hear about that game, when I see that game, it feels like it was engineered to like not sync with anything that I would care about. I don't know what it is. It seems like it's like lost in time, maybe. I'm again, like, I realize a lot of people work on this thing, and there's money. There's something about
that game that just feels like Godfall, the game the industry really wants you to love. There's something just like, they're just like seeding it in a way that's like, I'm not hungry. It's like, yeah, but you're gonna just take a bite. You're just gonna love this. Just take a bite. Just take a bite. Just take a bite. Just eat the goddamn Godfall. Just fucking eat the Godfall.
You just brush your teeth, have some orange juice.
Just like, I'm good. I don't think I want this. And they'd be like, this is actually pretty good. I just spent $1,000 on skins. Alex, should we move on to something else?
Yeah, there really isn't much else that isn't that's outside that realm. I just want to say very briefly, and I imagine this will be talked about more on the Bombcast, where people who actually play these games exist. But there is a new Monster Hunter that is coming for the Switch. Apparently, looks a lot like old Monster Hunter. So if you're into that sort of thing, that might be cool. I don't know. They just did a little direct thing today for that. So Monster Hunter on Switch.
We should not forget. I just saw
Jason A. Striker.
I just saw in the chat. Somebody mentioned the new Final Fantasy, which was also in that Sony thing. Final Fantasy 15. Is that where 16? Holy crap! Yeah, they showed that very medieval looking, very more traditional fantasy. You should go check out a lot of the footage from that if you are interested in that Final Fantasy.
That ain't coming out at launch. I can tell you that much.
We'll have plenty of time to talk about that.
Can we talk real quick about RE8?
Sure.
You mean Village?
Yeah, Village. There's something that game is doing to me that I don't know. Like, what is your sort of hot take on that game, you guys? Do you have a take?
Mine
like,
is
I don't
wait
think
and
I have
see.
one yet.
Yeah, mine's a wait and see.
Yeah, there's werewolves. That's weird, but other than that, I don't really know.
It seems almost like fairy tale-y in a weird way.
Yeah.
Which
they're definitely going for like that deepest, darkest woods of Europe kind of thing.
Yeah. Huh. That's interesting. Abby, do you noted Resident Evil 4 expert? Do you have an opinion on Village?
I do not. I'm eager to see where it goes. I'm excited to just play another one, have a new one. I really like the remasters, which gives me more faith than anything else they put out. And I think 7 was also very fun.
Yeah.
So I'm just eager for what they do next, I guess is what I'll say.
All right, Alex. Any other news? We're
That's
running.
all I got.
We're running here. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about? Bacalar, do you know anything about the AMD stuff that's coming down in the news pretty soon? I feel like it's like next week, right?
Yeah, I have not been
Is the AMD CEO going to get on camera from his living room and tell me how I'm fucking buying a holodeck? Is that going to happen?
So.
Because that's what the fucking NVIDIA guy did.
I mean, I don't know what kind of kitchen appliance he will pull this thing out of, but yeah.
He seems like a fanciful person.
I feel like 2021 is going to be a rebuild the PC. Either going to be a rebuild the car with spikes and like swinging bolos on it, or rebuild the PC.
Already working on it.
So we'll see. All right. Anything else on news?
Nope.
Great. Then we are going to take another quick break here. And we'll be back in a short break. We'll be back with some emails. Stay tuned, everyone. Make sure you guys can hear all this. All right. All right, we are back, folks. We are back, and we're gonna get into emails now. Email. Oh, sorry, I gotta say the email. We gotta do emails now. If you have an email, you can send them into beastcast@giantbomb.com. That is the beastcast@giantbomb.com. Abby Russell. Hey, Abby. I don't want to cut things short, but I have to do a decent amount of work after here. So do you mind if we?
I would love to do just a couple of emails.
Okay.
To be honest,
Be honest.
We'll just do a couple of emails. Jeff, why don't you take away this first one, nice and short? It's from Nathan.
Most certainly. Nathan says, question for Jeff Bacalar. Which team will lift the Stanley Cup trophy? Nathan, it will be the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I think. Are they good? What about the Devils? What about the Penguins? These are the only teams I know.
So
what about the Maple Leafs?
There's only 3 teams left.
Now. Okay, well, I'm sure all of those are there.
Wait, did the Lightning haven't finished their series?
They have not.
Oh, okay.
It's 3-2, Tampa versus the Islanders. I would like to see the Islanders win, but they won't.
How'd the Penguins do? That's the team
I
like.
Did not they got eliminated early. Did they make? I don't even think they made the playoffs. They got eliminated in the qualifying thing.
You could have lied to me, you know.
Look, I want the Devils to be there too, but I'd be just lying to myself. It sucks. But yeah, I think Tampa's clicking in a way right now where they look untouchable. I think the Stars look good too, but I think Tampa's
not that good.
Yeah.
What's the date on the when do the playoffs start? What are we doing?
It's like Alex said, we are on the precipice of the final.
What does that mean?
That means the final best of 7 is going to start in the next couple days.
Okay.
Tampa and Islanders have to finish, and then the winner of that plays the Stars. I think it's going to be Tampa, and I think Tampa's going to win the cup.
Okay. So we got some time. That's like what? That means it's like 3 weeks, 4 weeks? How many games?
I think within 3 weeks we'll have a cup winner, yeah.
Okay.
4 max.
All
Before
right.
Halloween.
Well, got to the bottom of that one. Thrilling. Tampa Bay.
Thank you
Put
for
your money
doing that
down
for me.
now.
Wow.
Yes.
Of course. Happy to do it.
I'm sure it's minus 1,000, but go for it.
Alex.
Yes.
Will you please read this one from Alice?
Sure thing. Alice says, "Dear Beasters, you're home alone or in some place where nobody else will hear you speak. Do you still talk out loud to yourself, or do you keep it all to an inner monologue?"
I keep it into an inner monologue. I don't
time?
talk out loud all the time. The only time I talk out loud, occasionally I'll talk to my cat, but I don't talk to myself out loud.
Yeah.
If I am, let's just say, nicely toasted, the inner monologue does tend to come out a little more.
Okay.
I do find myself talking to myself more often when I've had a little bit of that weed.
Okay.
But otherwise, yes, when I'm in my normal mind, it generally stays quiet.
I didn't know Alex does drugs.
We were on a weed podcast with him.
I don't know if that ever went up.
We were all
Part of it did. Part went up.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I knew Alex is a big stoner. So I don't do this. I never really speak out loud to myself. It's just not a thing. Yeah.
Am I the only one? I guess I'm the only one. I do.
Yeah, you're the only actual crazy person.
I will say before I started podcasting regularly and appearing in places where I had to talk constantly, I probably talked to myself more often. But I've maybe cut back on that a fair amount since that career direction went.
I definitely don't. What I do though, that sometimes I'll catch myself doing, is have like an inner conversation in my head and make the faces.
Oh, sure.
That's
Oh, yeah. I do that when I'm reading a lot too. Of just like, you make the and it's like, oh, she sighed, and you're like, just gotta think.
Does that count though?
No,
I didn't
don't
know
if that
that
counts. I think it's like
because sometimes I'll do an audible, huh?
Yes,
that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
No.
Right?
No.
Or like, come on,
It's not a monologue.
So the thing that I will do is maybe I'm not monologue. Like it depends on the extremity of the situation. There's definitely like times of, for an example, let's say everybody has left the house and it is a complete mess and everybody knows that I was busy and the kids and the wife have left the house and there's just stuff all over the place. But I'll start going like, yeah, of course I'll pick all this up. I'm just going to pick up everything because I'm home and not that I have a ton of stuff to do out loud, I guess I'll just be picking up all this stuff today. Dad's got nothing to do all day. Not like he's got a ton of stuff to do.
That sounds healthy.
Yeah, it's pretty healthy. And then there's a lot of stuff like if I'm downstairs working on like electronics or something, and I mess something up, a lot of like, of course, Carabella, think you're gonna fuck this up. You fucked it up right here. This was the one you were gonna do. You knew this was the one you were gonna do, and you melted the thing, and now you've got to tell everybody that it arrived broken, and because like that kind of stuff. That's listen, I'm my own best audience. Nobody else is gonna listen to me.
Yeah, I guess very occasionally I'll do little character bits with myself, but not that often.
Okay. I want to see that.
Characters doing a character.
Are they for practice or are they for funsies?
Both. Mostly for funsies. Okay. Or like I'll be watching a movie or something and then I'll hear a character and then it's like, and then I just mimic them. But out loud to myself. Like I watched the Katy Perry documentary because we all got a code. Did you check your inboxes? We all got a code for that one. And I watched it and it was fascinating. It was just Katy Perry propaganda basically. But they had all these talking heads talking about how great Katy Perry was and like Adele went on it. And now all I keep wanting to do is talk like Adele. She's like, yeah, I'm Adele and Katy Perry can write a hit tune. I'm Adele. I love a parade. Katy Perry can write a hit tune. I'm Adele.
I love this.
I'm Adele.
I'm Adele. Yeah,
Very
Katy
good.
Perry can write a hit tune, isn't it? Yeah, I'm Adele.
Isn't it?
Wait, but
Nice.
does Katy Perry write her music?
Apparently, yeah.
I thought she didn't. I thought that was a thing.
Well,
I
I think
think she
every
does.
pop star
According to
has
this-
songwriters that work with them, but I do believe Katy Perry has written at least some, if not all.
If we
The
had
documentary made it seem like she was writing it all herself.
if we had
Yeah,
podcast
Or Adele
titles,
I believe it, and I will say, yeah, I believe it.
If
I'll
we had-
believe that. Sure.
if we had podcast titles, dude, you're getting Adele. Would be the would be. Oh, it's such a good podcast title.
Dude, you're getting Adele, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Isn't it? It's just fun to say.
Isn't it?
It really is.
You're going to podcast jail, Vinny.
Abby, you got to go on the Bombcast. You got to do that same whole bit, and then I'll only email Brad to be like, okay, podcast title. You got to do this one, dude. You're getting Adele.
That was something.
Yeah, inner monologue all the time, especially when it's I'm totally by myself and I'm about to do something that I know is gonna bust up or whatever, or be like, oh man, I bet Alex is gonna get a bunch of corrections when he said the AMD CEO is gonna be in his kitchen when it's a female CEO. Like they would say that out loud normally, and then be like, oh okay, yeah, don't send him that correction. We're okay, we got it.
I mean, look, if I'm honest, I didn't know the NVIDIA CEO was a guy until I saw that video. I don't know.
I thought the NVIDIA CEO was just a bunch of cooling fans strapped together that
Yeah.
spin and make
A
noise.
pile of bitcoins.
We got one more email, Abby.
I think we have a correction.
Oh,
Or do we have
wait, then hold on. Let me do the thing. Oh, let me stretch out. Here we go.
Do it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it this one? I think it's this one. Okay, ready? That means it must. Oh, Abby, you just want to go to the slow motion. That means it must be time for corrections.
I don't hear it.
Vinny, it's not working.
It's
not working,
Vinny.
It's time. It's time for corrections. If you're listening to the audio version of this, you would have heard the correction music twice. But if you're listening to the stream version,
Oh,
you get it once.
Can you keep it our whispers?
what a cool little Easter
Oh, yeah.
egg.
Yeah, I can keep that on. Yeah, I'll leave that as God intended this podcast. If you got corrections, send them into beastcast@giantbomb.com. That is beastcast@giantbomb.com. It is where you can send in corrections. What could we possibly have for a correction?
Okay, so y'all weren't here the last episode, but there was a fun anecdote from one Mary Kish about how she worked in Australia for a bit and immediately got a nickname. And a lot of us were like, what? Is that the thing they do in Australia, or were they just like pulling one over on you? We got a lot of Australians letting us know that's what they do. Vinny,
Oh,
please read this one.
Yes.
Andrew.
Oh my gosh, we're starting the Australian beef again. This is fantastic.
Oh, good. Finally.
This is great. It's been years. All right. This Australian beef comes in from Andrew. Andrew from Melbourne. No, isn't it?
Oh, Jesus.
No.
You like almost committed to it and
Almost
then bailed
backed
He did.
right out. Pulled the chute
before
immediately.
you're even out of the plane.
Listening to the latest Beastcast, Mary mentioned that Australians are notorious for giving nicknames, and she met some resistance from everyone else. As an Australian, I wanted to provide some support for Mary because nicknames absolutely are a massive thing over here. Speaking personally, more friends and even a large number of my coworkers know me better by a couple of nicknames more than my actual name. Whether it's a shorthand version of your name, your initials, your surname, or something completely different, almost everybody has some form of nickname amongst their friends. If anything, in my experience, not having a nickname is a sign that your acquaintances at best or the relationships you have are highly formal. Have a great weekend, week, whatever. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks,
After
Bobby.
reading-
I'm sorry.
Ooh.
I'm sorry you didn't do that with an Australian accent the whole way through.
I'll do it again. Whether it's shorthand or whether it's shorthand version,
stop.
whether it's a shorthand
Stop.
version
What
of
is
your
that?
name, your
No.
initials, your
What is
surname, or something completely different, almost everybody has some form of nickname among their friends. If anything,
How's that
in
gonna
my
work?
experience, not having a
That is
nickname is
true.
a sign that your acquaintances at best or the relationships you have are highly formal.
Have.
I think it got better as it went along. It started rough.
I
Yeah,
like it. I like
found your
the effort,
footing.
Vinny. It's hard to do accents, especially in front of an audience. So I respect
your
it.
footing.
My
Yeah.
accents always get better when I go more gruff, like
Yeah.
like, oh, this is my working class English accent.
You're a
Isn't it?
Vogan.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, really? Did you say Vogan?
Vogan.
Oh, I
That's
thought you
like
said Vogan.
Vogan.
it's like an Australian redneck, basically.
Oh, okay.
That's my understanding of that slang.
I'm reading the kids' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and Vogans are there, and that's the voice I use for Vogan.
Oh.
Vogan with a B. Anyway, I did text my Australian friend Grace
Yes.
about this, but it's the middle of the night for her. So I'm really waiting to hear back because I've been calling her Grace this whole time. And if that just means we're only acquaintances or have a very formal relationship, I'll be sad.
Oh.
So I must know if this is a thing.
You must know if she has a secret Australian nickname for you that she hasn't told you yet.
What was Mary? Did you know, like, shortening Mary is...
Maza. It was Maza. I know.
Oh,
I don't know.
cool.
Mazda.
I think that just sounds cool.
That's longer
It
than
just sounds like a
Mary.
Mazda.
I don't know.
Well,
We got a
when
few
you put
people
it that
who
way.
emailed about like this is what like you guys would have. Like it's a lot of like adding like an to the end of it. Or like I don't know. I forget. They had ones that somebody sent an email that I enjoyed and they gave all of us nicknames and they're like, Vinny, you would just be called Vinny. Which I was like, okay.
I have so many. Vinny, Vincenzo.
Vinny, I have a question.
Yeah,
do you
go ahead.
consider Vinny a nickname or do you consider that your name?
Oh,
Because
definitely.
it's shorter version of your name.
Yeah, it's a nickname.
It's a nickname.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
deciding for you. It's a
Jeff,
nickname.
are you a nickname?
Yeah, I guess Jeff is a nickname technically.
Alex, you have a nickname. I don't have a nickname.
I don't consider mine a nickname though because I only go by it. I don't like nobody calls me Alexis or Alexander. They just call me Alex.
Your name's not Alexander, right?
My middle name is.
Your name is Alexis Alexander?
Folks,
Okay, one, I've
that's gonna
told
do
you
it
this
for this
before.
podcast. I don't know if Alex, I've known you for like over a decade. I don't even know.
I did not know
I
that.
said it on video when we worked at GameSpot together. Like people know.
That's some Julia Gulia shit right there.
How do
I
people?
didn't
I've
know
said
that.
this publicly multiple times.
I
I
gotta
I didn't know that.
go.
Okay, well, you all just forgot because I've definitely
maybe.
told you this
It's
before.
very hot down here in this basement. I think we're gonna wrap it up. I want to say before, hey, I'm not making fun. I'm impressed. I think that's
Yeah, I didn't know that.
yeah.
With what? My parents?
Yeah. Well, yes, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
That you don't go by like AA Navarro or something.
I have thought about going by AA Navarro, but that has always just sounded hyper pretentious to me, so I have mostly
Right.
avoided it.
When you write your book about what life was like in the 30s as you traveled Spain by AA Navarro. I want to say something before we go in terms of what we got coming up here. Drew and I are going to play some stuff for his charity stream coming up on Sunday. I'm gonna try and stick it in your ear. Stick it in the. I had it up and now I don't have it up anymore. Sorry, I have to get back on this.
Also, Alex, you have a this weekend too, right?
Yes, I actually have to pull up the details for that, but yes, I am doing a charity stream also. All right, what was that, Abby?
Oh, I was trying to give Vinny time.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
He's like, nah.
Yeah, no, Drew just he texted me the tweet. I got to pull it up, but I think 1:00 Pacific is where I will be joining Drew for. Oh, there we go. Somebody linked it. Thank you very much for linking it. To play some stuff. We're not exactly sure what it is yet, but you can watch it to raise money for. He's done it before to raise money for the MS charity. You can donate at. Of course, I'll set this up. I think enough time has passed where I have to set this up now. So remember, he's the blinking white guy. That is the meme that he was on.
Oh, shit.
So he has bikingwhiteguy.com. I feel like, now as we go further, this probably needs context to go forward.
Yeah.
You're basically chiseling it into his tombstone. That's what you do.
That's where you go to donate. So, but you can watch over on the chat. I'm going to try and put it up there, or you can go to youtube.com/clothmap. To go check that out. Sunday, I guess he's starting at 10 a.m. Pacific. So go check that out. Alex.
And then my thing. So myself and Brad Shoemaker are going to be participating in Spawn on Me's charity stream this weekend. It's called Vote Writers. And Brad and I believe, are closing out with an hour each at the end of it on Sunday. So I will be going live at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. And then Brad will be coming up right after that. I have no idea what we're playing. If we're playing, I think we're playing separately. So I might just do some drumming, some late night drumming. We'll see. But either way, we're going to be on there. Check it out.
And we started back up with Mass Effect, and go check that out. We were nearing the end. We thought we'd get through that whole party thing, but turns out that party is long. So we're gonna have some more of that next week. We got the hotspot coming up. I'm gonna start the music now because that seems like a good time to get out of here with that. So we got
Abby. Someone liked a tweet that you responding to my real name back in January, so you knew.
I don't remember anything.
Yeah, but
Either way, I'm shocked every time. I'll forget this again in 6 months.
Yeah,
but it's amazing how much power it still has. That revelation that's not really a revelation.
I'm a powerful man with a powerful name.
Amazing. Good for you.
It's a lot. I can't get over it. I wish I was like that.
I want to have that happen every week if we could do that.
I know. I truly can't wait to forget and learn it again.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Abby. I'm Vinny. We will be Vinny Vincent. We will be back next week. Mass Effect. Go check that out. Hotspot. Check it out. Go check out that Breaking Brad. Full of surprises. A lot of stuff. Abby, are you clue crewing tomorrow with Alex?
Yes, Alex. We got Clue Crew in the morning.
Yes,
we should have another episode of Friday with St. Vincent going up the next couple weeks. I also, we got 6 Crazy Frights coming up next month, hopefully, Vinny.
Yes. We gotta exit. Oh, let's go. The music's gonna go up and down. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back next week.